right there.
Regular meeting of the City Council held in the council chamber on Thursday, April 27th at 7 p.m. for the purposes of transacting any and all business. Notice of this meeting was posted on April 25th, 2017 at 11 a.m. This meeting's being taped and is live on SATV. Please double check your phones and silence them. All councilors are present. Councilor Milo presiding. Councilor Fury moved to dispense with the reading of the record of the previous meeting. All those in favor? All those opposed? The matter carries. Please rise and join us in reciting the Pledge of Allegiance, led by Councilor Gerard.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
We have public testimony, and it looks like we have a number of people here. We're going to do what's kind of become our regular 2-minute limit because of the number of people signed up to speak. Eileen will be our timekeeper, and she'll give you a wave when you're down to 10 seconds. So the first person up is Jeff Cohen.
Jeff Cohen, 12 Hancock Street, Salem, Chair, Salem's No Place for Hate Committee. I'm talking about the Sanctuary for Peace Ordinance. Federal funding will not be affected for 2 reasons. Salem will not violate federal immigration laws, and only the Congress has the authority to place conditions on federal funds. Our law enforcement resources must not be used to give for us to do the Fed's job, and communities are more safe when local police are not entangled in federal immigration enforcement. This is actually about the humanity of victims and witnesses being more willing to report crimes. Another reason Salem will be safer. But most important, this is about the humanity of standing up with and for our friends who are part of our community as co-workers, students, parents, neighbors, and friends. They pay taxes, contribute to our economy, enrich our community, and are truly part of our future. I want to address some people who have approached me and said that the petition to nullify this is not a human rights issue. However, when something is specifically about one group of people in our community, it's obviously a human rights issue. And it shouldn't be on the ballot, as that always is a disadvantage to minorities and the most affected. And these people specifically don't have the ability to vote. Thank you.
Scott?
Thank you for the opportunity to talk. My name is Scott Sternberg from Pickman Road, Ward 7. I think, as I mentioned last time I had the opportunity to talk before you, what we do and what we say matters. I think about what we want Salem to be and that Salem should be a beacon of light here, respecting and supporting and highlighting respect for diversity and a respect for all our residents and for all people. Unfortunately, Salem is sort of known for one of the horrors, the witch trials. We need to turn that. We want to be known as a beacon of light, which this ordinance is one step towards that. I was horrified again to hear and to hear about the desecration of the public circle where swastika was painted. And I was lifted and so proud to see it being turned into hearts all over that. We need to move forward with this. It's important that Salem shines bright, that the ordinance is passed for a 3rd time, and no documentation further is needed. No petition is needed. Let's be proud. Thank you.
Thank you. Anna Nunzio? You don't look like Anna.
I'm reading a statement from her. Is that okay?
You're going to read something from Anna?
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. My name's Grace Duran, 22 Webb Street, reading for a statement from Anna Nunzio. Good evening, Councilor President Milo, City Councilors, and Mayor Driscoll. I stand here to strongly encourage you to vote no on the motion for reconsideration of the Sanctuary City Ordinance proposed by Councilor Lovely. The ordinance to designate Salem as a sanctuary for peace has been passed twice by a vote of 7-4. The motion for reconsideration of the ordinance opens the door to negative sentiments parading under the guise of patriotism. Resurrecting the debate on the ordinance with the goal of making it a ballot question increases divisiveness in our city, rather than encourage dialogue on immigration reform among all Salem residents. Why continue to encourage misguided people to use the anonymity of a ballot question to express denigrating views? The people expressing them are as denigrated as much as their intended targets. We are better than that. Please vote no on the consideration motion proposed by Councilor Lovely. Thank you.
Lauren Noyes?
Good evening. Sorry, I just left. Hello, everybody. As we proceed, I just want to give a regular update about how the young people in the immigrant community are doing. I work with students who are new to the country.
Lauren, can I please have your name and address for the record?
Sorry, my address is impounded, but I'm Lauren Noyce, and I'm a big part of the Salem community.
Thank you.
Thank you. So it's for safety reasons, I cannot give my address. The police have told me that I'm allowed to say that. Thank you. Thank you. It's important. All right, so.
Say what city? Can you say what city you live in?
I can say what city. I'm in transition between Salem and Swampscott.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. All right. Okay, so the kids. I want to talk about the students who are members of the immigrant community, the ones who cannot vote because they're too young, but are affected by how this proceeds. Before the first vote for sanctuary, the clear vote, they were incredibly nervous. They come with trauma. They wouldn't leave their home country if they didn't have something to escape from. They come with high poverty in general. Not everyone has the same story. They come with a lot of new things to learn, new language, new culture, new school, all that stuff. They were really tense and they weren't really themselves. After the first vote, they had a bit of a party the next day. They were totally new people and it was amazing. And of course, I don't talk politics at school, but they said, Miss, did you hear? Oh my gosh, Salem loves me. They don't want me to run away. They don't want me to go back home. That's cool. And they were really happy. After the second vote, same thing. They're really excited and it has stuck. They're more focused. They're performing way better in school. We're moving way more quickly through the curriculum. It's awesome. After hearing of the delay, I've started to hear more comments about why are some people questioning my rights? Why are some people not happy with me? I didn't do anything wrong. That sort of fear and distrust has come back. They still know that people have their backs, but they're confused. I personally, of course know that there's always a right to have a petition, and that has often led to really good things in society. Whatever the intent of this one, though, the effect on the immigrant community is a continuation of the same discrimination that we fight with the sanctuary petition. It feels the same way as being told you're illegal or something like that, which of course makes no sense. It's troubling.
Thank you. Fuzzy?
Before I start, this is a disclaimer, actually. I am here on my own behalf, Fuzzy Fawaz Abu Sharak. I have nothing to do with any committee or organization or anything that I might be working with, so I don't want that connection to anybody. This is me, and this is Fawaz Abu Sharak, Fuzzy from 4 Harrison Road. By now, we know that the federal funding is not an issue. Tuesday, the judge made it clear. Trump attorney apologized for even threatening to use that. So anybody who's going to say this ordinance or this sanctuary thing because of funding, we know it doesn't exist and not a valid. The other point that many people try to make is we are a country of laws and we need to obey it. And I wanted to go to history on this one. And the first incident came to my mind is Hitler was elected The Nazis, the Reich, and the Gestapo were the law of the land at the time. So I don't know where you stand on that. Just because there is a law, it doesn't always makes it right, and it doesn't always say we need to obey it. The second example came to me is President Lincoln. He was the law of the land, he was the president, yet some people, up until today, they're still carrying Confederate flags. So I don't know, for those arguments to them, is it the law or it's not the law? What do we follow? Or do we just follow the law that suits us? The third example is Governor Hutchinson and the King of England. They were the law. But you know what happened? In 1774, the Boston Tea Party. So again, if we look at it as of today, if we keep following the law with that logic, we wouldn't be here today. We wouldn't have our country. It's that stand that we need to take sometimes that defines the laws and brings us to where we are today, and that's our immigrants, documented or not documented. Just because you did that, I'm just gonna say, please vote no on Councilor Lovely's thing, and if you can, please do it 7-4, because in the office pool,
Thank you, Fuzzy.
that's the box I picked.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Patty McLeod.
Good evening, my name is Patty McLeod. I live at 15 Beach Avenue. I am not here to speak about the sanctuary city. I'm representing the Salem Award Foundation for Human Rights and Social Justice. We are asking the approval of the council to close Charter Street, part of Charter Street, on June 11th to recognize the 25th anniversary of the Salem Award with the PBS Museum along with us, and the city and Salem State. We're going to we hope to close the street between 10:30 in the morning and 3:30 in the afternoon. The event will be from 12 to 3. I'm here to answer any questions.
Thank you. Dara Wolfson.
Thank you, Councilor Milo. I've spoken before about people being treated as second-class citizens in past decades, whether we're talking about Japanese Americans sent to internment camps or African American veterans coming back from World War II and facing Jim Crow laws in the U.S. We are in a situation where we need to have strong voice to stop hateful rhetoric and people being treated as second class or other or less than. It's heartbreaking that any elected official would want this issue on a ballot. Imagine if the right for women to vote had been sent to the voters to decide. Imagine if the abolition of slavery went to a popular vote. If we consider the historical context of these social justice issues, it is doubtful that any disenfranchised groups would have advanced at all. Moving forward, I propose that in addition to doing what Councilor Epley suggested, not putting social justice issues on the ballot, that we play an active role in correcting and redirecting the misuse of the adjective illegal and the noun illegals when referring to people. And second, even when we are opposed to an ordinance or against an issue that relates to social justice and human decency, that we stop and remember the children. This can be done by making a strong statement in support of marginalized groups and treating all people with respect. Maybe then we will be sending a strong message to the children and the grown children in our community that swastikas have no place in our community, that hateful speech has no place in our community, and silence, which implies complicity, has absolutely no place in this community. When these events are happening in our neighborhoods and our community again and again and again, I hope more and more residents and elected officials move to the side of never again and join with so strong a section of our community. Thank you.
Thank you. Alexandra Pinheiro Shields.
Dr. Alexandra Pinheiro Shields, 7 Bristol Street. Salem means peace. Peace depends on understanding and reconciliation. Salem is divided and needs reconciliation. This is what reconciliation looks like. The Essex County Community Organization, ECHO, which I run, has been addressing racial profiling in the city of Lynn, which ranks in the top 10 cities for racial profiling in our state. After a year and a half without any progress, ECHO members were angry at the disproportionate targeting of Blacks and Latinos. The police department in Lynn was defensive at the accusations of racial profiling. Then, exactly 1 year ago this month, 25 ECHO members met at Sacred Heart Church in Lynn with Chief Coppinger and 15 officers. White leaders from Sacred Heart and St. Mary's, Latino leaders from St. Joseph's, and Black leaders from Zion Baptist and Bethlehem each shared a story, a personal story of the ways that they were biased, and not proud of it. No one is proud of being racially biased. It was clear to us, we shared with Chief Coppinger, that as church-going people, we needed training, and so we hired Professor Rachel Gotzel, nationally known for this type of training, from Seton Hall Law School. Then we said to Chief Coppinger, we think that you might benefit from this training. And we asked him, will you come? And he said, yes, of course I will come. And all the officers in that room came. And then this past July, we trained over 200 people, including all of the Lynn Police Force command staff, in the science of implicit bias. When I asked Chief Coppinger how we were able to finally get this done after almost 2 years, he said, oh, that's simple. You saw us as human beings. Recently at a mosque, and I know some of you were there in Lynn, now cherished Coppinger raised his hand and said, who here is biased? We all are, he said.
Thank you, Alexandra. Thank you.
Everyone acknowledges their biases.
Thank you. That's your, Alexandra, that's your 2 minutes.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Okay, that concludes public testimony. Hearings? None. Appointments and reappointments.
Held from the last meeting, the mayor's appointment of Kerry Murphy to serve on the Board of Health with a term to expire March 23rd, 2020.
Councilor Famico.
Thank you, Madam President. I move for confirmation by roll call vote.
Councilor Famico moves for confirmation by roll call vote. Under discussion?
Yes, Madam President. So Kerry, she currently serves as our Mass in Motion Healthy Living Coordinator. And a big part of that has been the Salem Food Council Initiative. And part of that, she has brought in people from all different facets and all different food pantries to be able to discuss what they're doing and where there might be a hole in programming and how they can work together to better serve the community. In addition to that, Kerry has some kids within our Salem school system at the Carleton School. I'm excited that she is going to be coming on for our Board of Health because not only does she give us the perspective of someone who has worked in the health industry and worked with everything as being a public health advocate, she works on our Salem for All Ages initiative, and also the fact that she has kids in this community I think is huge. When we have different people, if they have a skill set, but then they also have the children that are growing into it, they're able to give a perspective from someone their own age, but someone who's also looking at the Salem All Ages for different populations, and also to have the perspective of having a child within the school system. And as part of that, I'll also add that she's one of the initiatives, the people that get together every Friday to send food home for our kids for the weekend that might not have food otherwise. So I'm glad she's now adding this to her already busy schedule, and I'm looking forward to everything she does with us. And I know we have an item on the agenda later tonight that I'm sure she'll be part of as well. It's right in her neighborhood for the Common.
Any further discussion? Councilor Giroux.
Thank you, Madam President. I also want to speak in support of Kerry Murphy for member of the Board of Health. As you know, I'm the council liaison to the Board of Health. Thank you for putting me back on there as the council liaison. And her expertise, as my colleague has just described, she fits it to a T, and I have worked with her before at the Salem Y, and we actually also used to do our swim class together, because a little factoid about Kerry is that she's an Ironman. She did an Ironman 140.6 miles in 14 hours and 40 minutes, I think it was. You have 17 hours to do it, so she embodies health. So I think that she will be fantastic on this board.
Any further discussion? Councilor Ryan?
Thank you. On a rise in support of this appointment. I know Kerry through my wife Pam in the Carleton School community, and every time I just hear her name about all the things she's involved in, and amazes me sometimes. I'm glad that, I want to thank her for willing to serve on the Board of Health. Thank you.
Thank you. Any further discussion? Seeing none, Madam City Clerk?
Counselor Turiel?
Yes.
Counselor Sargent?
Yes.
Counselor Ryan?
Yes.
Counselor McCarthy?
Yes.
Counselor Lovely?
Yes.
Counselor Gerard?
Yes.
Counselor Fury?
Yes.
Counselor Famico?
Yes.
Counselor Epley?
Yes.
Counselor Dibble?
Yes.
Counselor Milo?
Yes. Thank you. On the matter of Kerry Murphy's appointment, we have 11 councilors voting, 11 in the affirmative, 0 in the negative. The matter carries.
Madam President, I move for the suspension of the rules to allow Ms. Murphy to address the council if she chooses to do so.
Thank you. Seeing no objection, Ms. Mark.
Thank you so much, Councilors Famico, Councilor Gerard, and Councilor Ryan for your kind words. I also want to thank Mayor Driscoll, the Board of Health members, and the Health Department, and all the council members for this appointment. Public health is a big passion for me, and I am thrilled and very excited for the opportunity to serve. Thank you.
Thank you. Further appointments and reappointments.
Held from the last meeting, the mayor's appointment of Julia Bellafato to serve as a member of the Beautification Committee with a term to expire April 13th, 2020.
Councilor Gerard.
Thank you, Madam President. I move for confirmation by roll call vote.
Councilor Gerard moves for confirmation by roll call vote. Under discussion.
Thank you, Madam President. Ms. Bellafato has been a resident of Salem for 9 years. I believe she bought her house just a few months before I did. If you drive down Dearborn Street, she does have one of the most beautiful houses, one of the most beautiful front yards. She's been very involved in the city. She's done a lot of work with the Salem Main Streets, and earlier tonight there was a member from the Beautification Committee here in support of Ms. Bellafato's appointment, and I also support that as well.
Thank you. Any further discussion? Seeing none, Madam City Clerk.
Counselor Turiel?
Yes.
Counselor Sargent?
Yes.
Counselor Ryan?
Yes.
Counselor McCarthy?
Yes.
Counselor Lovely?
Yes.
Counselor Gerard?
Yes.
Counselor Fury?
Yes.
Counselor Famico?
Yes.
Counselor Epley?
Yes.
Counselor Dibble?
Yes.
Counselor Milo?
Yes. Thank you. On the matter of Julia Bellafato's appointment to the Beautification Committee, we have 11 councilors voting, 11 in the affirmative, 0 in the negative. The matter carries. Councilor Gerard.
Thank you, Madam President. I would like to move for a suspension of the rules to allow Ms. Bellafato to address the council.
Seeing no objection. Julia.
Good evening. I'd just like to say thank you to everyone for the appointment. I was coming to Salem for almost 30 years before we actually purchased a home. It's a great place to live. We love it, and I look forward to serving her the best I can. Thank you.
Thank you. Further appointments and reappointments.
Held from the last meeting, the mayor's appointment of Rebecca Christie to serve as a member of the Commission on Disabilities with a term to expire April 13th, 2020.
Councilor Epley.
Thank you, Madam President. I am in full support of Becky Christie being appointed to this body. She is not here, and so I would actually ask that this matter be continued until the next meeting. I won't be present. I will be in Florida seeing a mouse at the time. And so I'm going to ask my colleague from Ward 5 to bring forward her nomination. But tonight, I just want to say on her behalf, she's a great asset in general to the city of Salem. She is the one-woman organizer of Freeze Your Tush Off. Is that right? Every New Year's Day.
Which I'll note you haven't done.
Which I have not done, for the record. But more importantly, she is very familiar with the disabilities community and will serve very well with that. And not only is she within my ward, and I'm doing this as a Ward 4 councilor, but also as the Disabilities Commission liaison, I know that this is going to be a great addition to that group. But I do bring a motion to continue this to the next meeting.
Thank you. On Councilor Epley's motion to continue this matter to the next meeting, all those in favor? Opposed? The matter carries. Further appointments and reappointments.
Held from the last meeting, the mayor's appointment of David Garino to serve as a member of the Salem Redevelopment Authority with a term to expire April 13th, 2022.
Councilor Famico.
Thank you, Madam President. I move for confirmation by roll call vote.
Council Fumiko moves for confirmation by roll call vote. Under discussion?
So I first met Dave, I think at this point we're about going on almost 4 years now. I was walking over near the common and he was biking through with his boys. And to see them now, they've grown up so much already. But I mentioned that in particular because although Dave, he lives over off of Federal Street now, he moved from another location, but he's someone who sees our city by foot, by bike, by wheels. He's also someone that's in and out of Boston for work. And for work, he currently works for a company that helps a lot of people in public office and also helps with their public communications. But part of that is also sometimes people get thrown things at them when they're in public office and how to be able to help them through those areas of crisis, which I think would be a great skill he'll be able to bring to the SRA. Because when you have things going before you, sometimes they can become very contentious concerns and issues, and it would be a voice of reason in that. Dave also works with our Attorney General. He worked on her campaign a couple years ago, so knows the importance of making sure there's due process and equal opportunity for all within that. And I'd also like to add, and I learned this through his wife's Facebook page earlier, he's here to stay right now for the long haul. They just refinanced their house. They're locked into a mortgage for the next 30 years. So it's great to have someone that already has that commitment and then he's around town, but he's also someone that he's invested in the community and the decisions the SRA makes, they're here for the long term as well. So I'm glad he's giving us some of his time in this capacity.
Councilor Terrio.
Thank you, Madam President. I too rise in support of Mr. Guarino's nomination here. I think I've known Dave for about 6 years. My introduction to him was when former Councilor Vino suggested that I should, when I was first running for office, I should go talk to him. He lived a couple blocks away from me, and he was somebody like, you'll get a lot of insights from him. He's a great guy. And I went over there, and his dog bit me. That was my introduction to politics, and there you go. And it's been 6 years of dogs biting me since. Dave is a tremendous asset to the city. He's incredibly intelligent. He's a great communicator, and he's a terrific. And my colleague kind of said this. See, he's better at talking than me too. She kind of alluded to this previously. He's really good at stepping back, looking at perspective, looking at issues, and giving them that extra bit of thought. And I think it's a trait that we can really use on all our boards and commissions. He'll bring that to the SRA where we have a good team in place already, and I think Dave will be a wonderful asset to the city. I'm really glad that he's stepping forward to serve.
Councilor Lovely.
Thank you, Madam President. I've had some conversations with David. Hopefully, he wants to be involved in the community. I was hoping he'd take his skills in another direction, but maybe another time. David and I have spoken on many occasions on the phone. I've dealt with him for potential clients, and he's been a great advisor to my wife, Joan, and not a paid advisor, but although his advice is priceless. David, you have a black lab, do you not?
Chocolate lab.
Chocolate, okay.
Yeah.
We have 3 labs, so that's another point in your favor as far as I'm concerned. I find it unusual that a lab would bite an individual, but I wanted you to have biscuits in your pocket.
No accounting for taste.
David has worldly skills. He's done work around the world. He's a former newspaper reporter and held high positions in government. I wish that he was taking a much more relevant role, as we've talked about, and maybe some of you will speak to him about that. I'm pleased he's on the going to take this appointment, and people need more people like Dave Guarino. David, I'm very pleased that you joined us. Thank you.
Any further discussion? Seeing none, Madam City Clerk.
Councilor Terrio?
Yes.
Councilor Sargent?
Yes.
Councilor Ryan?
Yes.
Councilor McCarthy?
Yes.
Councilor Lovely?
Yes.
Councilor Gerard?
Yes.
Councilor Fury?
Yes.
Councilor Fumiko?
Yes.
Councilor Epley?
Yes.
Councilor Dibble?
Yes.
Councilor Milo?
Yes. Thank you. On the matter of the appointment of David Guarino to the Salem Redevelopment Authority, we have 11 councilors voting, 11 the affirmative, 0 in the negative. The matter carries. Councilor Fumiko?
Move for suspension of the rules to allow Mr. Guarino to address the council if he chooses to do so.
Seeing no objection, Mr. Guarino?
Thank you. Thank you, Councilor Famico, Councilor Turiel, Councilor Lovely, and all of you for your support. Thank you to Mayor Driscoll for nominating me for this position on the Redevelopment Authority. I'm eager to get to work. As Heather said, as Councilor Famico said, I am committed to Salem. We moved here 13 years ago, and just a couple of years ago bought our forever home on Carpenter Street. So 30 years isn't going to be it. But I do feel the need to defend my dog in front of Council Ward 5. He was a puppy then, and puppies nibble, and the councilor's a sensitive gentleman, so I respect his. For a while. He has cats. Yeah. But I'm eager to get to work, and thank you for the opportunity. There's a lot of great things that are happening in this city, thanks to all of your hard work and the administration's work, and I'm eager to be a part of that and continue that on behalf of all the people of our great city, and look forward to working with all of you. So thank you again.
Thank you. Further appointments and reappointments.
Held from the last meeting, the mayor's appointment of Dean Rubin to serve as a member of the Salem Redevelopment Authority with a term to expire April 13, 2022.
Council McCarthy.
Thank you, Madam President. I move for confirmation by roll call vote.
Under discussion?
Thank you, Madam President. Mr. Rubin is here tonight, and as you can see from the letter from the mayor and his resume attached, he has extensive experience in retail design display. He lives right downtown, so I think that brings a wealth of firsthand knowledge to the Salem Redevelopment Authority and what's going on downtown. It's funny because the meeting earlier ran long, and I turned around and I said, is Mr. Rubin here? And I turned around and looked at him and I said, wait a second, I know you. And he's like, yes, it's not on his resume. Mr. Rubin also happens to be a baseball umpire, and I've had the occasion to deal with him many times, and I'm happy to say that he never once has thrown me out of a game while I was coaching or any of my players. From my dealings with Mr. Rubin on that personal level, I find him to be utmost fair, and he takes a step back and takes a look at things, and I think he's going to be a welcome addition with his experience to this board, and I wholeheartedly support his addition to this board, and I move for confirmation by roll call vote.
Councilor Famico.
Yes, Madam President. I do not know Dean Rubin, but hearing more and more about him, I am really excited to have him in on the SRA. They have more and more businesses coming in with window displays and signs, and to have someone in that background. Recently, we've been appointing a lot of new members to the SRA. At the same time, our downtown is booming with a lot more coming in, so I'm glad we have this new team coming together, and I'm thrilled that we have someone with this background to add to this new SRA membership.
Any further discussion? Seeing none, Madam City Clerk?
Councilor Turiel?
Yes.
Councilor Sargent?
Yes.
Councilor Ryan?
Yes.
Councilor McCarthy?
Yes.
Councilor Lovely?
Yes.
Councilor Gerard? Councilor Fury?
Yes.
Councilor Famico?
Yes.
Councilor Epley?
Yes.
Councilor Dibble?
Yes.
Councilor Milo?
Yes. On the matter of Dean Rubin to serve as a member of the Salem Redevelopment Authority, we have 11 councilors voting, 11 in the affirmative, 0 in the negative. The matter carries. Councilor McCarthy.
Thank you, Madam President. I move suspension of rules to allow Mr. Rubin to address the council if he so chooses to.
Seeing no objection, Mr. Rubin?
I'd like to thank you. I'm the mystery man you just approved. So, my wife and I moved into the North Shore about 23 years ago. We started in Beverly. I moved my business into Salem about 17 years ago, a little less than that. And as we moved through the downsizing phase of our life, there was only one city to choose, and that was Salem. So we moved smack downtown because I just love this city. And this is a very exciting time, I think, in our country. And we're seeing some of it based on the meeting that preceded this session. It's an exciting time in Salem. And so one of the things I've learned in business, I've been running businesses for 35 years. One thing I've learned is be very slow to learn. And it took me a long time to learn that axiom, but boy, do I live it every day now. And it's interesting how if you take that and add a corollary to it, which is what if nobody could be wrong? You take those two together and it stops you in your tracks and makes you think about issues first, listen to people, and then make a decision. I'd like to think I call a very fair game in baseball. Sure do. I think my reputation precedes that, and that just comes from that same thought, which is to say, they're here to play a game, they want it called fair, just call it fair. And yes, you may make some mistakes, you live with that, and you move forward. I hope we don't make any mistakes on the SRA. I'm flattered by the appointment, and I thank you for your leap of faith to accept it. So thank you very much.
Thank you. Further appointments and reappointments.
The mayor's reappointment of Amy Everett to serve as a member of the Park and Recreation Commission with a term to expire April 27, 2022.
Council McCarthy.
Thank you, Madam President. I move for confirmation by roll call vote.
Under discussion?
I would just say that Ms. Everett is a neighbor of mine, and over the last bunch of years as a member of the Park and Rec Commission, I think she does a fabulous job, and I wholeheartedly recommend her reconfirmation.
Any further discussion? Seeing none, Madam Clerk?
Counselor Turiel?
Yes.
Counselor Sargent?
Yes.
Counselor Ryan?
Yes.
Counselor McCarthy?
Yes.
Counselor Lovely?
Yes.
Counselor Gerard?
Yes.
Counselor Fury? Yes. Counselor Famico?
Yes.
Counselor Epley?
Yes.
Counselor Dibble?
Yes.
Counselor Milo?
Yes. Thank you. On the matter of Amy Everett's reappointment to the Park and Rec Commission, we have 11 councilors voting, 11 in the affirmative, 0 in the negative. The matter carries. Councilor McCarthy.
Thank you, Madam President. With regards to the fact that we ran late earlier this evening, and to try to speed up getting those people in the room that have business in front of us that would like to leave, I move to take out of order and go to page 9.
Okay. Councilor McCarthy moves to go to page 9. I believe we have somebody here for the resolution on this one.
Somebody for the resolution? I thought we'd take, I believe the veterans were here? Is someone from the veterans? If we're not, I can wait. Doesn't? No.
I think it's actually the resolution.
Okay, then I move to take the second matter, the resolution by Councilor
All
Ryan.
right, great, thank you. Councilor Ryan?
Thank you, Madam President. City Council, April 27, 2017, resolution, whereas Anton James Andreessen was born in Salem, Mass. in 1985, whereas Anton James Andreessen is known as Anton the Great Andreessen, whereas Anton the Great Andreessen has been performing magic on Salem Now television with Leo Joden since he was 13 years old, whereas Anton the Great Andreessen has been recognized as the official magician of Salem by the Commonwealth of Massachusetts House of Representatives, where Anton the Great Andreessen has been recognized as the official magician of Salem by the Commonwealth of Massachusetts State Senate. Therefore, we, the Salem City Council, resolve to recognize Anton the Great Andreessen for being the official magician of Salem and for performing and making magical memories for the city of Salem. And be it further resolved that the city of Salem make this resolution a matter of record of these proceedings.
And move for adoption?
I move for adoption, yes.
Under discussion?
Under discussion, I was speaking with Leo Joden. He was over my house. He's in the chambers. He runs a Salem Access television TV show for a long time, about 20 years, I believe. And he, sorry, I was stand corrected.
I knew
So he was talking how Senator Lovely, I keep saying, Council Lovely, Senator Lovely, and Representative Tucker had done a presentation and made him the official magician of Salem. So Leo thought, well, why can't we do one through the city council? I was like, well, I can bring an employee if you want. So, and here we are. And I'd also like to suspend the rules to allow Anton. My kids have always, anybody watches, a lot of people watch Leo's show, but Anton's been on the show since he was 13 years old, and every year I see him, he's getting better and better at the Christmas show. My kids love him. Some of the stuff he does is amazing. If he could make some of our problems disappear, he'd even be better.
There you go.
But I'd like to suspend the rules so I could present this to him, along with Leo Joden, and as well, if he'd like to speak. If there's no objection, I'd like to.
Could I speak just a few words?
Yeah.
Seeing no objection?
That's what I'm saying, that we can all get there. Let me present him, and then you want to speak first?
Yeah.
All right. Does he want to come in?
Yeah.
He made himself disappear.
I know. It's natural.
I know
at least half of you. Half of you are Salem Now stars. And for the cameras, no, that's not the Salem Now show right now. It's the city council meeting. But 25 years ago, when I created Salem Now, and it came towards the end of the year, I have to put a lot into this show. Christmas time was coming around, and I said, what am I going to do for Christmas? And I said to myself, people don't want to hear about potholes and taxes. And I want to keep them in the spirit. So what should I do? And I said, geez, I remember Ed Sullivan, Milton Berle, and I can remember their Christmas specials. And I said, you know what? Let's keep the people of Salem in the spirit. So, as a couple of years went by, I said to myself, you know, a magician would be great, and also a puppeteer. 25 years, believe it or not, folks, I still can't find a puppeteer. But I called a friend at the Magic Parlor on Essex Street, Frank Figley, and I asked him if he knew of somebody that did magic, and he said, well, we have this one kid that hangs around in front of the shop that does magic tricks. He's only 13 years old, and I said, that's all the better. Because Salem Now loves to have the children on the show to try to hopefully incite them to continue the talents that they have. Some of these kids are fantastic. Well, I figured, no, he does card tricks, 13 years old, a typical kid, but I have to find somebody for the Christmas special. When Anton ever did his first show of over 20 years, at the age of 13, I said to myself, I'm putting a chain around this kid's ankle and only gonna give him enough room to be able to go home and eat and go to school, because this kid is definitely gonna become part of Salem Now. It's amazing just to see, if you can imagine a kid showing off their stuff. I'll bet they show up at school 2 hours earlier just to hear the other kids say, I saw you on TV. I bet they walk around with a badge. And it makes them feel good. Makes me feel good too. Just like Scrooge.
Thank you, Leo. Thank you.
Gets bigger. I want to present one of the most wonderful young men I have ever met in my life, who I named Anton the Great Andreessen. Anton?
Well, thank you, everyone. I don't know what happens next. I've never been a part of this type of thing.
I was going to present you with the resolution, and then you can do some magic tricks, or...
Okay. Do some magic tricks. Do you guys have a budget you want me to work on?
Yeah, sure. Yeah, wait a second.
I know you had the resolution that you got from the state senate and the House of the Representatives.
Yep.
I just wanted to get this from the city council and appreciation of all your magic and your great ability. I mean,
thank you.
I'm proud.
Are you going to do the 500?
Well, yeah. I'll take care of that part.
All right.
Thank you very much. And thank you, Leo, very much for the kind words. So do I have a moment I could say something to everyone here today?
Sure.
Okay, well, I just want to say that there's no greater honor that I could have in my life as a magician than to be named the official magician of the city that I was born in, Salem, Massachusetts. So there is no higher honor for me. I appreciate it to the very bottom and top of my heart. And there are two things that I want to do. I want to continue to help make magical memories in the city of Salem, to make this the most magical place in this great nation of ours. The other thing I want to do is magic, believe it or not, is not just about decks of cards and bunny rabbits and this sort of thing. It's about making dreams come true. And this, for me, is a dream come true. So I want to help as many other people find their own personal magic and make their dreams come true. To say thank you for all the people who have shown me kindness that have gotten me to this point here in my life today. So thank you to everyone in this room. I want to give you guys a round of applause. If you want to clap for yourselves, go for it. But honestly, it's a very surreal thing for me, and it's a great honor to me. So that being said, who would like to see some magic?
Make Leo disappear.
Oh, hey, no, not this guy. Not this guy. I'll tell you what. Is it all right if I come around that way?
Your fastest trick. Can you do something in 30 seconds?
By the way, he has flown around the country with Piff the Magic Dragon, if anybody has heard of
Elaine,
famous.
You certainly may.
Elaine, yes, you may. You can call me Anton the Great, whatever you want. Just don't call me Clunt.
Okay.
That's all I ask. So, Elaine, I have a question for you. It's okay, it's a simple one, just be honest. When it comes to money, do you like the feeling of making money or spending money more?
I like spending it on other people.
Spending it on other people. That's a really good answer. And she said that very quickly, so I know that, I believe that to be the truth with you, all right? So this one's for you. Everybody watch close. I know it's a big room, but here we go. Check this out. You guys in the front, you guys can be the eyes for everyone. They'll verify, you'll verify what everybody's seeing, what I say is true. But look, I have $100, $200, $300, $400, $500. Now, Elaine, how much is that really?
$5.
Okay, it's only $5. You got me. Sir, could you do me a favor? Grab one of those. Hold it up to the light. Make sure it's real. Now, again, there's nothing trapped between the layers of paper or anything like that. And now, you're right. This is only $1, but we're going to make it look like 100 just for you here today, okay? Don't freak out. It only happens right here in your imagination. We're going to take the bill, fold it down into the middle. Now, watch. Nothing's going to come or go up my sleeves, anything like that. All I have to do is rub once, twice, 3 times. And look, that's $100, $200, $300, $400, $500 right there. And that's not a bad trick.
No. Can I get to see that?
Director. I'll tell you guys real quick before I go, there is a problem with this trick. And the problem is that somebody in this room right now is missing $500. Okay, and I'm not that kind of guy, so I don't want it to stay that way. So watch here again, nothing's gonna happen. Come or do it on the sleeves. I just rub once, twice, 3 times, and that's now back to the 1, 2, 3, 4, $5. And you know what the best part of that trick is, sir? What? Is that those 500s are now in your front right jacket pocket. Take a look. I'm just kidding.
Thank you.
The end of May, we're having our budget hearing.
What was that?
The end of May, we're having our budget hearing.
I'm there.
And I would like to add that Jerry Ryan's oldest son, Colby, at the last Christmas show, when I reminded him about that trick, Colby, the oldest, said to me, "Do you think he could do that in pennies?" So I said, "That's a good question."
Oh, we're on.
All right. Thank you very much.
I appreciate it for the honor.
Congratulations. Thanks. Council McCarthy.
Did we vote on it? You didn't vote on it.
Did we vote on
Council McCarthy?
You didn't.
Thank you, Madam President.
Oh, I'm sorry.
All in favor?
On the matter of Councilor Ryan's motion for adoption? All those in favor? Opposed? The matter carries. Council McCarthy.
Thank you, Madam President. I move that we take out of order on page 12 petitions, the request from the Salem Ward Foundation.
Thank you. Council McCarthy?
We have a request from the Salem Award Foundation to close Charter Street from Hawthorne Boulevard to Central Street on Sunday, June 11, 2017, for the foundation's 25th anniversary event.
Council McCarthy.
Thank you, Madam President. I move that this petition be granted.
Under discussion?
Yes, I mean, we all know over the years what wonderful work the Salem Award Foundation does, and on its 25th anniversary, they want to have this event and close the street. It comes with approval of the police department. I have no problem granting this request, and so I move for approval. And I know the members of the foundation are here if anyone has any questions, but just in case there are any questions, they're here, but if not, then they can leave.
Council Miko.
Thank you, Madam President. I'm in support of this as well. Just would like to ask that the Awards Foundation just be sure to reach out to the Salem Trolley Company as they go down Charter Street as part of their route.
Yep.
Any further discussion? Any questions for the foundation? Seeing none, all those in favor? Opposed? The matter carries. Thank you. Council McCarthy.
Yes.
Where would you like to go now?
Committee reports, the ad hoc committee report. I believe what we discussed prior, before we can take the vote on reconsideration, you wanted to take up the committee report.
Thank you. Councilor Fury?
Councilor Milo?
Thank you. The City Council Ad Hoc Committee for Sanctuary for Peace, to whom was referred the matter of an ordinance, Chapter 2, Section 2-2064, establishing an inclusionary advisory committee, has considered said matter and would recommend adoption for first passage as amended, creating Article 28, sorry.
Sorry, no, 18.
Roman numeral, sorry. Section 2-2064, Inclusionary Advisory Committee.
On discussion?
So I move for first passage. Under discussion, we had an ad hoc committee meeting. We had a lot of discussion, a lot of back and forth. We came up with an amended version of the language from the Sanctuary City ordinance, and I believe the vote was like 6-1 to send it out of committee. And I think everybody has a copy here. And before we go any further, I have some comments that I'd like to make.
Please.
Mr. President, when the creation of this commission came before us, I decided to take an inventory of documents that have come before the council regarding anti-discrimination. But before I did that, I looked at the No Place for Hate website. This is a mayor's committee. It's dedicated to promoting acceptance of diversity and combating discrimination. So we have that committee. In addition to that, we have the non-discrimination ordinance that outlaws discrimination and upholds human rights of all persons in Salem. We recently passed the Sanctuary City ordinance that again speaks to inclusivity and non-discrimination. And now before us is an ordinance to create yet another entity to address discrimination. I recall a time not so long ago when one of our counselors took a committee appointee to task because the member publicly compared Salem to Selma, Alabama. This whole body agreed to call the appointee before us to give the person an opportunity to clarify their comments. Ultimately, all but one counselor voted in favor of the appointment, but it wasn't before we all made it abundantly clear that we do not discriminate here in Salem. Why is it that some of us feel the need to continually remind ourselves that we are against discrimination? I'm against discrimination in all its forms. I don't need 4 different documents that say the same thing in 5 different ways to tell me that. But what's happening here is that every time this subject comes up for debate, It takes away from the individual conversations among people, the conversations that actually foster inclusivity. The conversations that erupt on social media build walls instead of bridges. We need to stop this public bickering and personal attack of individuals based on their support or opposition of issues. We need to build bridges. We need to have one-on-one conversations outside of the echo chamber where people have a real chance to exchange ideas and create relationships. Until we do that, we can pass all the anti-discrimination ordinances, resolutions, create all the committees possible, and they'll all just be futile attempts to achieve positive results. So tonight, I'm going to draw a line, and I'm not going to support this ordinance. We don't need more legislation or more committees to make Salem better. We have enough of that on the local, the state, and the federal level. What we need is common sense. And we need to allow ourselves to have a conversation without attacking the other side. We need to talk to each other instead of at each other. And more importantly, we need to listen to each other. Mr. President, I believe that there's more that unites us than divides us, and I think going forward, that's where we need to focus. Thank you, sir.
Any further discussion? Councilor Famico, please.
Thank you, Mr. President. So when I see this, I look at what the powers and duties are, and it's things like working with current community-based organizations and ways to partner on providing municipal activities. It's providing input into the practices, so I see it as being proactive in a way of looking at what we're doing and how we might be able to do it better if we gather support and harness that support from different groups in order to reach out to all these different populations within the city. I did vote on this last week. I am going to make a motion to amend. Whether or not that carries, so be it. But my motion to amend, there was a lot of discussion last week about what the composition of this group should be. And where it is right now, I'm okay with it going forward. But when we look at this membership, when we're looking at things like No Place for Hate, Latino Leadership Coalition, we also need to realize that immigration trends change and populations change. So that being said, I would like to make a motion. I spoke with the mayor prior to the meeting tonight for this to hear her thoughts on it, but for the councilors here, after the part that says original appointees, the first part of this, if this goes forward, I will have two subsequent motions for that. So I would say, I'd like to motion to amend after the original appointees, that two part saying, no later than the first meeting in April of the City Council's biennial year, the matter of the composition of the Inclusionary Advisory Commission shall be reviewed and voted on by the City Council.
Is there a second to the amendment?
Second.
A second by Councilor Dibble. On discussion?
Yes, so this would allow us every year at that time. It's the same as our mayor. When we're reviewing her salary, it's actually done every year at that same time period. And the two other motions I'll make for that will actually connect the appointments to making sure that when they're being done are in the matter that's allowing those changes to be made prior to the next appointments. I'd like this to be done as, for what I said before, that currently we're looking at these different groups, so No Place for Hate, Council on Aging, Commission on Disabilities, but as history has shown, different populations that need input and that need to be stood up for at different times, they change with times. At one point it was women. In the city of Salem, it went on to being Polish immigrants, and then we had French immigrants, we had the Italian phrase, but this will give us the ability to every 2 years just look at the composition. I'm not saying to review the ordinance as a whole, but just the composition part, so that as times change, we have the ability to look at what groups, commissions, and committees that we have as part of that, and it'll be prior to the reappointments for that.
An amendment was made by Councilor Famico, seconded by Councilor Dibble. Further discussion. Councilor Eppley.
While I'll support the amendment, I think it's a bit duplicative. I mean, we can, this not we, but any city council can always review an ordinance at any time. So if you want a built-in, if the good word to councilor wants a review, I'm not going to fight that.
Any further discussion under the amendment by Councilor Famico? Councilor Ryan.
I mean, I'll support it, but I agree with the Ward 4 councilor that it kind of duplicates. I mean, any council can do it, in the matter of like who is going to remember, someone has to go in and make sure that we're going to be looking at that. Is the city clerk going to be doing that? Like who's going to be responsible for that? That's where my concern is. And if we have the appointments for the city council and the mayor, if there's a different group, we can change. But I understand what she's saying about the different changing, so I don't have a problem with it. But.
Thank you. Any further discussion? Yes, please, Councilor Famico.
That with the April part, there are several ordinances currently on our books that even it goes on to mayor's salary, school committee composition. There's a whole bunch that we really, in general, need to be listing out to see the reports we're supposed to be getting at times of the year and when different things are supposed to be reviewed. We've noticed it a lot in the last couple of months that we've been letting some things slip by, and it might be a good time to gather all those things together.
Hearing no further discussion. Yes, please, Councilor Dibble.
Thank you, Mr. President. I seconded this motion. I thought it was a good idea, and I thank the good Ward 2 Council for bringing it forward. I think it's needed so that we're totally inclusive, and we're not just going to sit back for 5 or 10 years as things change, but we have to look at it again and say, oh, we should change it, and add 2 more bodies, or take this body off if it doesn't exist, etc. I know that we can make changes, but this is a good thing that we should look at from time to time. So I'm in support of this. Also, I'm wondering if this council would be in support of a friendly amendment to this amendment to make it more inclusive. I think that the group at the meeting, which I could not attend, did a wonderful job in writing this. I've read this document, the revised document, I think 4 times now, and I'm usually the one looking to see, make sure it's all legal, and if there's any issues with it, and I found none. So nice job to the council on this. The one thing I'd like to see is more of a balance, if we could somehow, and perhaps the good Ward 2 councilor can speak to this. I'd like to see an appointee from the veterans post, the VFW post, a member of the VFW post be added to this.
Would Councilor Famico consider a friendly amendment to allow this to take place?
Mr. President, I'd like us first to vote on my amendment and then to take that separately because there are 2 different topics with that.
Yes, please. So I concur. I think we should vote on the amendment by Councilor Famico, seconded by Councilor Dibble, on this one solitary issue. All those in favor, please raise your hand. All those opposed, please raise your hand. 1, 2 opposed. 3 opposed? 3 opposed. So 11 councilors present, 3 opposed, 7 in favor. On the amendment by, do you want a separate amendment, Councilor Dibble? What do you want?
Mr. President, I'd be happy to. I'd like to move that we amend this excellent document by simply adding that a representative from the Veterans VFW post on Derby Street be added as a member.
Do I hear a second to Councilor Dibble's request? I hear no second to Councilor Dibble's request. So we're now back onto the main motion as amended with the amendment attached. Councilor Famico, correct me.
Yes.
Are we all? That concurs? We're with Councilor Milo's full request with the amendment already attached, right?
I have 2 more amendments.
You have 2 more attached?
As long as that went forward, I didn't want to add the other 2 prior to that, if I may, Mr.
So go ahead, please.
Yes. I'd also like to amend for the original appointments due to the prior amendment we did to say to expire on April 30th, 2018, and then the subsequent appointments be for a 2-year term commencing May 1, 2018. And that's so when we're reviewing this, it has to be done by the first meeting in April. It gives their time period so that if some of these compositions are changed, at that time, there's an opportunity between the composition change and the appointments in order to make sure that they connect together.
Second.
In interest of time, could we combine both those into a single amendment? It's been a long night, and we have some other things to go ahead. So 2 friendly amendments into 1 by Councilor Famico, seconded. Any further discussion? Hearing no further discussion. All those in favor, raise your hand, please. All those opposed, please raise your hand. 1 opposed? 1. I only see 1 hand. 2 hands opposed? 2 hands opposed. 2 opposed. So it's 9-2. I didn't see that, Councilor Lovely. You have to raise your hand a little bit higher.
I'm asking to be recognized.
Oh, I'm sorry. I apologize. We just voted, so now you wish to be recognized. Please, Councilor Lovely. Thank you.
At the meeting down at the Bentley School and subsequent to that, I was in favor of establishing a commission. We have many commissions. Some of them may be redundant, but anytime people can get together and share ideas and try to help with some solutions, I'm all in favor. The more conversations we have, I believe, close to 30 commissions or et cetera. But I know people feel very passionate about this and that this will serve a good purpose, and I applaud your efforts and I applaud the work that was done on this. The only question I would have is, under A, it says advising the mayor. I think it'd say the mayor and city council, because I think we would be well served taking advice from this commission as well. If there's a reason that city council is left out of that, I had to leave that particular evening as the discussion went further. But if it's going to be a commission that's going to be advisory, I think it just not only should be the mayor, but the city council. I think that was one of my points, that the mayor can have all the advisory committees that she wants, he or she wants, and to have that in an ordinance form, I just found really wasn't appropriate. But I just think if we're going to have this commission, it should be the mayor and the city council.
Second. On a request by Councilor Lovely, seconded by Councilor Epley, seconded. Any further discussion?
We're on the, is this an amendment?
Yeah. This is one more amendment.
We're having one amendment by Councilor Lovely. Any further discussion? So with the language of the mayor and city council as requested by Councilor Lovely. All those in favor, please raise your hand. All those opposed? One opposed? Two opposed. Two opposed. Two opposed. So a 9-2 vote. Councilor Famico.
Thank you, Mr. President. Just a question through you to the city solicitor. For right here for powers and duties, it says the commission shall meet monthly or as often as may be required. Does that mean it doesn't necessarily meet monthly? Or is it monthly or possibly more?
Well, it shall meet monthly.
Okay.
It's a directive. Or, if there's something that's coming up, it can be.
So there's the guarantee of that. Great. Thank you.
Councilor Epley, please.
Thank you, Mr. President. And through you to the Ward 2 councilor's question, that when we had the ad hoc committee meeting, the issue was with all of our other commissions, we have a regularly scheduled meeting, and that if there aren't any agenda items, that they are then canceled. And so it's basically in line with our other commission structures.
Perfect.
Thank you. Councilor Churiel.
Thank you, Mr. President. Through you, this was something we worked on as had been requested. We worked on this last week. We made a lot of changes in bringing this forward, and we turned this from what was originally just a mayor's advisory committee, which the mayor has the power to do at any time without involving us at all, and without an ordinance or without anything else. So the mayor could do what was in the original proposal on her own. What we had an appetite for as a body was to try and create, as several of our members said, create a group that had a little bit more teeth and the ability to go and take a look at things that the city does and policies the city has, and look at the way the city does business as an official city commission, which No Place for Hate, for all the work it does, is not a city. It's not a city council appointed. It's an offshoot, and the exact history of it. There's a bunch of people in this room who could give it to me, but this came out of the ADL's original efforts before to create what is now the No Place for Hate Committee, and it has close ties with the city, but it is not of the city. And this is an attempt to do something that is an actual city commission with the ability to look at how we serve the disadvantaged in the city, how we serve the disabled, how we serve the elderly, how we serve immigrants. And it's not just about the immigration story that we've been telling for the last couple of months in this body, and we'll keep on going probably the rest of this year. But it's about how do we serve everybody who has issues, everybody who has a disadvantage, everybody for whom dealing with government and dealing with police and dealing with schools is a daunting proposition. And I think this is a good effort at creating and finding who the best people are to start this off with, and the best other boards that have other duties that can kind of combine this. We modeled this very much on how the CPA Commission is is structured, and I think we have something good here. The city council will have a voice in this by appointing 2 members. The mayor will have a voice in this by appointing 2 members. And we will be appointing from other groups and other commissions of the city that each have collectively interest in some of these areas. So I think this was a good product that we put together. And you know, I understand that if you look on the face of it, there's a lot of different groups within the city. There's a lot of different commissions in the city. But I think this one has a focus that we really do need to bring forward.
Councilor Gerard, please.
Thank you, Mr. President. I actually am very much so in support of this commission. As one of my colleagues brought up, that it is really important to build bridges, and the best way to start building bridges is to recognize that there are disparities in the city, that people discriminate, that there is racism, that if you have not ever been discriminated against and you don't know what that feels like, then I think that this would even be a great place for someone who has never experienced that to come and learn about that. But people who have been discriminated against, this is also a great place for them to go and to start to build resources and to start to build knowledge sharing and better ways of addressing discrimination, addressing disparities, and ultimately it betters our city. And that's really what we wanted when we talked about putting together this inclusionary advisory commission. And actually it was great when the Ward 3 councilor said he wanted more teeth in it. That, yeah, we worked on this for over 2 hours, I think, and put more teeth in it. And so hopefully this is gonna go forward and more people are gonna come out, and I think more positive outcomes could come from this. Thank you.
Any further discussion? Hearing no further. Councilor Sargent, please.
Thank you, Mr. President. I don't support the sanctuary city ordinance, so I want to be consistent and not supporting this because it's part of the ordinance. They're not separated. You know, the original language, though, was supposed to be a mayor's advisory committee that the mayor appoints. And I know sometimes I don't agree with the mayor, but in this case, I believe that this should be her committee to appoint. And she's done a good job in being inclusive in this city, and I think she'll take care of whatever group is here now and whatever groups come along. So I feel confident in that. And I want to thank Elaine Milo, Council President Milo, for her words. You know, when I started on the council, Councilor Joan Lovely was kind of the mother figure of the council, and Elaine's taken over that figure for us. And the way she spoke was very much, you know, like being the mother of the council, and they were very good words, and I can't do any better than that. But you know, there was a time I feel like we got along a lot better before we started telling each other how to treat each other. I mean, legislation put in place to tell us how to treat each other has divided the city, and I wish we go back to treating each other how we treated each other before our city government started telling us how to treat each other. It seemed like it was a lot more peaceful and undivided city, and I'd like to go back to those simpler times. So, thank you.
Any further discussion? I just want to make a clerical request on your part. I forgot to accept the report, so it'd be better to accept the ad hoc committee report. And may I, all those in favor of the committee's ad hoc committee report? Hearing all in favor? Thank you. On the adoption of the recommendation for first passage.
As amended.
As amended. Thank you very much. Thank you. Should we have a roll call vote?
Sure.
Do I see 3 hands for a roll call vote? I see 3 hands for a roll call vote. Madam City Clerk, please. Thank you.
Counselor Turiel?
Yes.
Counselor Sargent?
No.
Counselor Ryan?
Yes.
Counselor McCarthy?
Yes.
Counselor Lovely?
Yes.
Counselor Gerard?
Yes.
Counselor Fury?
Yes.
Counselor Famico?
Yes.
Counselor Epley?
Yes.
Counselor Dibble?
Yes.
Counselor Milo?
No.
Thank you. 11 members present, 9 in favor, 2 opposed. It passes. Do I have a request for reconsideration? Councilor Churiel?
Move for immediate reconsideration. The hopes will not prevail.
All those in favor of reconsideration? Raise your hand. All those opposed?
Opposed.
Thank you very much. Madam President?
Thank you, sir. Counselor McCarthy.
Thank you, Madam President. I move that I continue to move around the agenda. I apologize to the city clerk. I move that we go to page 15, unfinished business. Now that we've taken up the committee report.
Page 15, unfinished business. Madam City Clerk?
We have Counselor Lovely's notice of reconsideration of second and final passage of the following ordinance. Second passage of an ordinance, Chapter 2, Article 17, City Services related to Immigration Status Inclusionary Advisory Committee.
Counselor Lovely?
Move for reconsideration by roll call vote, please.
Counselor Lovely moves for reconsideration by roll call vote. Do I see 3 hands? Okay. Counselor Epley?
Madam President, just point of information. A yes vote would be to reconsider the matter, am I correct? And that a no vote would be to deny reconsideration?
That's correct.
Yes.
Thank you.
Does everybody follow that? Okay. A yes is that you want to talk about it again. Okay, Madam Clerk?
Counselor Turiel?
No.
Counselor Sargent?
Yes.
Counselor Ryan?
Yes.
Counselor McCarthy?
No.
Counselor Lovely?
Yes.
Counselor Gerard?
No.
Counselor Fury?
No.
Counselor Famico?
No.
Counselor Epley?
N-O.
Counselor Dibble?
No.
Counselor Milo?
Yes. Thank you. On the matter of Counselor Lovely's motion for reconsideration, we have 11 counselors voting, 4 in the affirmative, 7 in the negative. The matter does not pass. Sometime you'll get it right. No clapping. All right. Counselor McCarthy.
Thank you, Madam President. I move the return to the regular portion of the meeting.
And that will bring us to...
Unless there's some other business I'm taking on.
Oh, Counselor Turiel?
I was going to move that we moved out of order one more time, yet again, to page 7, so we can get the Community Life Center presentation.
Oh, okay.
There was only 2 things on the previous page.
Mayor's information.
Madam President, prior to that, because we have a couple members in the audience that they're here for one matter regarding the Salem Common, if we could just clear that out.
What matter is that?
Page 6, the second item.
All right, Counselor Famico moves
Let me
to...
just take up page 6, then we're in order.
Okay, we'll just do page 6 then. Regular order.
All right, everybody in agreement with going to page 6?
Let's go back.
Counsel McCarthy.
Thank you, Madam President. If we could just go back to page 6, there's 2 items left on page 6, that'll put us back in the regular order, and then we can just keep flowing, not to complicate matters more for the clerk.
I like your style.
Thank you.
Okay. If there's going to be conversation, please leave the chamber while we're conducting our meeting. Thank you. Communications from the mayor.
We have an appropriation of $17,841.20 is appropriated in the Retirement Stabilization Vacation Sick Leave Buyback account to be expended for the contractual buyback of Susan Ellis of the School Department.
Councilor Gerard.
Thank you, Madam President. I move for suspension of the rules.
Councilor Gerard moves for suspension of the rules. Seeing no objection.
Thank you, Madam President. I also move for adoption.
Under discussion?
Thank you, Madam President. This is actually a very routine matter. This is Susan Ellis's contractual retirement, and we want to wish her well for all her years in the school department.
Any further discussion? On Councilor Gerard's motion? All those in favor? All those opposed? The matter carries. Further communications from the mayor.
We have an ordinance amending Article 3 Common Use Policy of Chapter 26, Park and Recreation is amended by deleting Salem Common Use Policy and replacing it with Salem Common, and inserting a new division, Division 2, prohibited activities, permitted and non-permitted events.
Counselor Ryan.
Oh, sorry. I don't have any problem with moving for adoption for first passage, but under discussion.
Under discussion, yeah? Counselor Famico?
Thank you, Madam President. I'd move that we refer this to Ordinances, License, and Legal Affairs. I've gone to the Board of Health meetings about this, but I think we need to be looking into it a bit more, looking at things, although it says related to other smoking devices, we have to also be looking at things like vaporizers, e-cigarettes. That's a big part of it now. It might be covered as this, but also another part of this ordinance, and I was actually kind of giggling to myself last week. I was looking through Old City Ordinance. It says right here that prohibited on the common is mechanical rides or amusements, including carnivals and circuses. Every year in October, we have mechanical rides on the common, which is going strictly against this, and from what I can see, there's nothing that allows that special permit, so I'd like us to bring this into committee to talk about things like the vaporizers, the e-cigarettes, have that part, and also tied into our conversation that we'll be having in the next couple weeks about recreational marijuana dispensaries, that we're having that discussion as part of that as well, and we're looking at the common. And quite frankly, I wouldn't just like to see it 50 feet, I'd like to see the common as a whole completely banned. I think it's a small enough park to be able to start with that. So I'd like to move that we refer to Ordinance, License, and Legal Affairs. Co-posted.
Counselor Ryan?
So moved. I don't have a problem with that.
Okay. On Counselor Famico's motion to move this to Ordinances, Licenses, and Legal Affairs, all in favor?
Co-posted.
Oh, co-posted. All those in favor? Opposed? The matter carries. Now we're at the mayor's informational page. Oh, what am I, Counselor McCarthy?
Sorry, I thought I was going to sit down, and I'm going to stand up one last time, only because Leo is in the chamber. Leo Jordan's in the chamber.
Oh, okay.
And there's a matter in front of us under motions or resolutions relative to the naming of veteran squares, and it just so happens that a member of his family is going to have one named after him, so Council Ryan is giving me hand signals across the aisle telling me to take it up while Leo's still here, so if I can indulge the council one last time, I apologize. If we could take out of order motion orders and resolutions on page 9, please.
Councilor McCarthy.
Thank you, Madam President. City of Salem City Council, April 27, 2017, ordered that the Salem City Council consider naming veteran squares as endorsed by the Salem Veterans Council for the following list of veterans who paid ultimate sacrifice during World War II. Grove Square. Actually, in fairness to these individuals who gave their life for their country and who represented Salem Town, I'm going to read
them all.
If you indulge the council. Grove Square, to be located at the intersection of High Street and Beach Ave in Ward 1. C. Dexter Grove lived at 32 Beach Avenue before he enlisted in the Marine Corps just after Pearl Harbor on the 5th of January 1942. Private Groves was killed in action on October 25th, 1942 during the invasion of Guadalcanal in the Pacific Theater. Coin Square, to be located at the intersection of Bayview Avenue and Chaput Beach in Ward 1. Charles L. Coyne enlisted in the Merchant Marines on the 19th of September 1942. He was killed in action on May 4th, 1943 when a ship, the U.S. Oneida, was sunk by a Japanese submarine. J.J. Murphy Square, to be located at the intersection of Juniper Ave and Star Avenue in Ward 1. John J. Murphy enlisted in the Navy on the 27th of February 1941 while flying a mission out of Pearl Harbor as a U.S. naval pilot. His plane was reported missing on March 28, 1943. He was declared officially dead on the 29th of March, 1944. Griffin Square, to be located at the intersection of Columbus Avenue and Bayview Avenue in Ward 1. Robert F. Griffin lived on Columbus Avenue, Ward 1, before leaving for World War II. He enlisted in the Navy after graduating high school in 1943. He was assigned as a belly gunner in a Navy aircraft that was lost on the mission over the Philippines on July 9, 1945. Jordan Square, to be located at the intersection of Wheatland Street and Jefferson Ave in Ward 3. Henry Jordan enlisted in the Army on 18th of March 1944 and was killed in action while fighting in Germany on December 16th, 1944. Malionic Square, to be located at the intersection of Blaney Street and Derby Street in Ward 1. PFC Chester Malionic enlisted in the U.S. Army on 24th of March 1943 and was killed in action on the 22nd of December 1944 during the Battle of Huntgen Forest in Grossow, Germany. Grossow, Germany. Thank you.
Move for adoption?
Move for adoption, Madam President.
Any discussion?
On a discussion, this past year, as a anniversary of the World War II, in my ward, we have a memorial stone by the beach that has the individuals, the first 4 individuals on this list listed. They were individuals who grew up in the Willows, lived there, and their names are forever on a rock that's right on the beach. And because of the anniversary of World War II, the neighbors felt it was important to, we cleaned it up, spruced it up, and brought in family members of the individuals, and we had a little ceremony to rededicate the stone. At that time, the neighbors also enlisted, or I shouldn't say enlisted, started communications with the Veterans Agent, Kim Emmerling, and on renaming the squares, streets relative to give them their proper due as they were veterans that were killed in action. As is contained in our package, the Salem Veterans Council voted and took up the issue of these, as well as the 2 other squares, and wholeheartedly recommend on behalf of the Veterans Council and on me and on behalf of my neighbors that these streets, corners be renamed for those very favorite sons of Salem who gave their lives to serve their country during a time that most of us in this room, Councilor O'Keefe's not here, so most definitely, most of us in this room never experienced or never understood, but at that time they gave their lives to their country so that we can be standing up in this chamber tonight speaking highly of them. And so I wholeheartedly recommend that we pass this evening, and I've been assured by the Veterans Agent that he will do everything in his power to make sure that the signs are up prior to Memorial Day.
Wonderful, thank you. Councilor Terrio.
Thank you, Madam President. Just a really quick thought about this and what we're doing here to recognize these people. When I was born in 1966, right around, everybody, yeah, I know it just seems like yesterday, but we were, everywhere where I was growing up in New York and in Connecticut, there were World War I veterans. World War II veterans were a little bit older than guys that were a little bit older than my dad, who to me seemed unfathomably old, although of course, you know, he's now since passed away, and I'm older than he was back when I was thinking that stuff, and that's terrifying. But you know, World War I vets, the last living World War I veteran died a couple of years ago. There's very few World War II veterans left. And people, there was a lot of, over the last 20 or so years, there's a lot of recognition of them, a lot of, there were books about them, there was the whole Greatest Generation series about, and since then there have been other wars, there's been the Korea, which is when my dad served, there's been Vietnam, there's been the Gulf Wars, and there's always, unfortunately, as long as there's mankind, there will always be war. But World War II veterans are rapidly disappearing, and we're recognizing a few of the people who fought and were lost in that war now, but something we should all be thinking about is just what the fact that all these people are dying off means to us in our history, and the examples that they have set and the lives that they've led. And a friend of mine up in Gloucester did a photography project where he's photographed World War II veterans for a couple of years, and Jason Grow, and he did this as just a civic project and had an exhibition, and every couple of weeks I see a post from him that another one of them died. Mm. And that's just something we should all keep in mind and keep in our hearts as we, you know, as we honor some of Salem's own, and just think about what the loss of this generation means to us as a people and as a part of our history.
Thank you. Any further discussion? Councilor Dibble.
Thank you, Madam President. I think the Ward 1 Council did a wonderful job reading these in tribute. Ward 5 Councilor had, and I'd like to echo his comments as well. These fine soldiers from Salem all gave their life fighting hate in the Pacific and hate in Europe. And I am embarrassed earlier tonight when I made a motion to put a veteran from the Veterans VFW post on our anti-discrimination committee. I will be reintroducing it at our second passage, and hopefully this council will look more favorably on putting a veteran onto this board that will help protect and address discrimination issues, hate issues. These guys passed away fighting this, and it's too bad that we couldn't recognize that board by putting a veteran on it. I've had at least 32 veterans contact me. You all know that I was the most vocal person going to all the meetings. I had way too many emails and phone calls, and I responded to each and every one of them. About 32 veterans, both for and against sanctuary, raised a lot of questions, and I think they should have a voice on this committee. So hopefully, 2 weeks from now at our next meeting, I'll be reintroducing, asking for a veteran to be put on this committee, and hopefully you'll give it more consideration. Thank you.
Councilor Ryan.
Thank you. As liaison to the Veterans Council, I've made it to one meeting. Sorry, but I just with stuff happening. I wasn't at this meeting, but I was at the meeting before, and we talked about what because they get a lot of requests for veteran squares, and Councilor Famico had brought an order in to have the Veterans Council review it before it came to it. And one of the things they talked about at the meeting was like automatic if they were killed in action and they get a square named after them. Then they talk about debating whether there's other things where people make a lot of things. They were veterans, they didn't die in action, but they did a lot for the community. As far as having like a veteran on that committee, I didn't do it because you said at the VFW, there's also the Legion, there's other things. I agree with you, but I think we don't need to single it out now because it's going to be reviewed every year with Councilor Miko's order, and as a city council appointee, we can put a veteran in, or the mayor can put it in, so I was fine with it. But I felt bad not seconding it, but I just felt that we can, if we want to as a council, we can do that, and we can rectify it. And I just want to see if we can suspend the rules in case Leo Jordan wants to speak. I know I don't want to be here all night, but I'm sure that he'll be brief if he wanted to say anything. But I just want to give him the opportunity because I taught Leo was one of my neighbors in Ward 4, and he moved, and I moved, so I'm in Ward 6 now. And we used to talk a lot about his uncle, and it was one of his things to get this done, and he's doing a lot of stuff, and I'm sure he's very proud, and his uncle's probably looking down at him, very proud that he got this, along with all these other ones in Ward 1, and well-deserving, so I'll stop speaking.
Any objection? Seeing none? Leo, would you like to address us?
Nothing against you, Stephen. I mean, my mayor, I don't think there's one, of course we call each other frogs, but my mayor, which is French for grandmother, passed the original tube and the Purple Heart on to my mother so she could trust that it would carry on. My mother, in turn, fell ill. She passed it on to me to see to it that it wouldn't get destroyed. I would say going back as far as at least 20 years ago, how could I honor? I would have rather met my Uncle Henry, my father's brother. I wish I wasn't standing here right now talking about what we're talking about. But I never had that chance. He was killed by a sniper at the age of 19 as a child. And I felt there was something I had to do. My health is failing also. I don't know if I'm going to wake up tomorrow myself. I have 10 grand-nephews and nieces, 6 nephews and nieces. And I don't care if they're watching right now, I don't trust one of them to take care of what has been passed on to me that has to continue. There is an organization out there, I've been working with, I finally met, we've been talking by phone, but we just had him on the show, it's airing now, Kim Emmerling, wonderful man, and he's helping me with this so that his Purple Heart can continue. There are organizations out there where it could be displayed. That's what I'm looking for. I'm not mad at you. It hurts what you said. I expected to hear tonight that these names were gonna go up in all these wards. That's what I expected. I've been waiting for so long. There are 3 people out there that I am really, really upset at. When I had Kim on the show, I said, do not invite one of them. And I know that out of the 3, possibly the 3 are watching right now.
Leo.
Not gonna name them. I'm not gonna be that mean. It's gonna come to a point where, yeah.
Leo, thank you.
I'm sorry.
Nope, you're fine.
Sorry, Elaine.
Nope.
But this means so much to me, my family. My family's almost gone. And he's one child out of 21.
Wow.
From Wheatland Street. And like I said, shot John in life at the age of 19. That was a child.
Yeah.
And I wish I could have met him, that I wasn't standing here tonight begging that his name be put up on that corner of Wheatland and ward of Wheatland and Jefferson Avenue. There's no prouder moment that I could have is to drive up Jefferson Avenue and see Jordan Square.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Leo.
Thank you, Elaine.
You take care.
Yeah, I'm working on it.
One last time, Madam President. I move that we return to the regular portion of the meeting, which would be on page 7.
Wait, we have to still adopt it.
Oh, you have to adopt it.
You're in a lot of trouble.
On Councilor McCarthy's motion for adoption.
Done that a lot.
All those in favor? Opposed? The matter is adopted. We'll see those signs by Memorial Day. Now we're going back to, yes,
I
sir.
move to resume the regular order.
Thank you, Councilor Eppley. We're going back to page 7?
7.
Mayor's informational page.
Mayor requesting opportunity to update the city council and public as to the status of the Mayor Jean Levesque Community Life Center.
Councilor Ryan, will you take this?
This says move, received, and place on file, but we want to discuss this. Suspend the rules. To allow the mayor to address the council.
Thank you. Seeing no objection? Mayor Driscoll?
Well, I picked the wrong night to do an update.
Quick update.
I know. I will keep it brief because the hour is late, and I want to make sure that you get on to any other business that you have before everyone falls asleep. So I did want to provide a brief update on the Community Life Center. I know we're all excited about the opportunity to see this long-awaited project finally come into fruition. I drive by the site frequently, and you may have seen some of the surcharge materials moving around. The reason we're not starting construction right this minute is because there is a soil surcharge component to this, and that is essentially compaction going on that ground until it settles to a certain point, so that we can begin both the foundation work and the geo-piers that will be set up as, they're not pilings, they're essentially concrete stones that are put in piers, so as fill tide lends a proper way of constructing this activity. So what we're passing out to you are a couple of key pieces of materials. And again, we're going to do this presentation with the CLC board, so there'll be other opportunities to go in a little bit more depth, but wanted to give you at least a snapshot of what's going on. I was talking to Councilor President Milo, and she's a liaison for the board, the Council on Aging Board. I was at their last meeting. We were talking through some issues. So over the last several months, we've had a small building committee that's been meeting to review floor plans, the program that was proposed, refining those items, looking at the layout and the finishes for the interior of the building. That was really necessary because we needed to get those floor plans finalized so that a foundation permit could be pulled, and so the contractor and the architect could begin signing off on the construction documents to help us move to that very necessary step. The handouts that you have are the most recent approved floor plan that the architect is working off of, and you can see it's a 2-story building, 20,000 square feet, great room, terrific space on the first floor that will be very welcoming, allowing opportunities for people to congregate individually, smaller groups, and then space for maybe larger lectures or activities to be taking place. There are also offices for anyone who is currently in the COA building on Broad Street. They're going to be brought over to the COA building on Boston and Bridge. So we've got veterans offices there, we've got social services there, we've got park and rec there. Anyone who's there now will be brought into the new building. Members of the CLC Building Committee include city staffers. Hats off to our team here. I mean, we are like on all cylinders. People like Mike Letraszewski, even our planning staff is involved because of the Mass Works grant. We've got a lot of folks doing a lot of different things, and they're doing it all really well. We've got volunteer members from the COA board, 2 COA board members who are participating. We have Elaine Bella, who has been in here before for other presentations. She's an interior space planner that's worked with several senior center projects and has been really helpful in thinking about, a designer I should say, in thinking about the right types of materials, the right height of chairs to make sure this facility can serve everybody comfortably. And we've also recently asked Darlene Mellis and Paul LaRue to attend some of these meetings, given the number of projects they've worked on for schools. So some of these issues like, marmoleum versus VCT on the floor, they've got some real experience in, and we were trying to borrow some of that as we approach this building. You'll note that we also have some items within this floor plan that we are working with the developer right now to tease out that are extras. So we have a base model that we signed on to, and then of course we would like some additional upgrades. For instance, you'll note in the great room there's a fireplace. We really feel like that's an important component to this, to creating the right atmosphere and to creating a facility room that has a little bit more personality to it. That's not in the base model, that's an extra. So we're going through right now with the architect trying to understand what's in the base model and, or more importantly, what are those upgrades, so we can go back with this building committee and get a handle on, do we need to make some trade-offs? Do we have to give up the granite in exchange for something else because we want an upgrade that perhaps is a little bit more expensive. Some of the things so that work is going well. We are looking at perhaps using one of the owner's construction project managers that we've used on past projects to help us with this project as we proceed to construction. This is not a project that we will be managing, the contractor or the architect. That's the developer who's giving us a turnkey operation, but we will own the final product. So obviously we want to have some eyes on the construction activity. We're going to need some help finalizing the things that we are required to spend, the FF&E, so fixtures, furnishings, equipment. We're not going to bring old desks, down to this site. They don't work in that layout. So where are the counters going to be in terms of, the reception area and things like that. That FF&E work is ours. The IT setup is ours. So we're working with Matt Killen to come up with a plan to make sure we've got drops in the right place and adequate IT coverage. And a construction manager may help us sort through all of that. The third component we think our CM could help us with is we're going to need some materials to help us with capital planning. We think there's some opportunities to do fundraising. Many newer senior centers or renovated senior centers have been able to use their Friends of the Council on Aging group or Friends of the Senior Center group to raise funds. We think we have an opportunity to do that too, but we're going to need some materials to really pitch sponsoring rooms, sponsoring activities. So right now we need to move forward with understanding some of the upgrades, getting the building committee back together so we can finalize decisions on those areas. Elaine's got a great eye, and I think there's some really good people on the building committee who have a good sense of what might match up together, how do we make sure we have light in the right areas. Thankfully, I'm not the person making any of those decisions, or we wouldn't have a very well-designed or well color coordinated building interior. A couple of things to keep on your plate for things that are going to be coming to you is we are going to need to relocate some of the telephone poles, utility poles that are on the front of the Bridge Street corridor, so they'd be right along the corridor heading downtown. We believe we can bury those lines, which is really great because it's going to help us provide a better corridor. So we're going to be able to really follow a complete streets model that's going to allow off-road bike paths, not on both sides, at least on one it looks like. We're working with both the Bike Committee and the Traffic and Parking Commission to tease out what the right cross-sections will look like. I think we gave you a couple of the cross-sections that are being proposed. Stantec is the engineering firm we're working with. And you may recall we received the Mass Works grant for $3.5 million for improvements along this corridor, improvements along Goodhue. So we're really creating a neighborhood in this whole North River Canal corridor area. As we start to develop these plans, we want to be mindful of the fact that we want to make it a place that's easy to walk and easy to bike. So we want the input of our internal folks. We're also going to need a neighborhood meeting, given I think a lot of people want to know the update who live in the neighborhood. So as we get closer, probably sometime in June, I think we would encourage us to have some kind of a larger neighborhood meeting where we can go through some of the cross sections, talk about the building, and what the timeline is. So petition to relocate. One of the key kind of pivot points for us right now is getting these utility petitions in place because it's a high tension wire. You don't want to have heavy construction activity, including pilings or geopiers going on next to this really high tension wire for construction safety reasons. So we need to get that wire buried. They'll start some of the work. They'll be on the other side, but eventually they're going to have to get over to that roadway side. We're coordinating very well with National Grid. They have been terrific, super responsive, working with us to make sure that this project doesn't slow down because we don't get things out of their shop. So that's moving forward, but there's going to be a petition here, and my point is we're going to really need to pay attention to that and make sure it doesn't get bottlenecked to keep everything online because it's a sequence project that's going to need to keep moving forward. We also wanted to make sure that we just touched upon the Mass Works project. So that's $3.5 million. It's integrated right next to this project. Keep in mind, in addition to this building, there's the residential component. There's a new intersection work, including a right turn only lane, the new corridor along Goodhue Street. All of that will tie into this. And I guess mostly the most important question that's probably on people's minds is, okay, when the heck are we going to start, right? Yes, right? I figured that. So our expectation is that we'll be able to have a groundbreaking in July, and I mean a real groundbreaking. We're not just trying to have a groundbreaking to say we're having one. We actually want the project to start. That is, I would say, coordinating with National Grid. That is the most critical time point we're on right now, and it looks like it's lined up perfect, but you are going to get a request for a petition that we're going to need to move on at some point when it comes in. So we're going to need to move on that. So July is when we're expected to have a groundbreaking on that facility. They'll be moving into the foundation work right after they do that groundwork. You may see some site activity before that. If you're driving by there, they're moving piles around. They're starting to get ready. They're measuring out the soil surcharging. They'll do the geopiers, the foundation work, the underground plumbing, and then you'll start to see the vertical construction take place. By the end of this calendar year, I'd say, hopefully by Thanksgiving, our anticipation is we'll have vertical construction up and maybe even boxed in so we can start working on the interior. The Mass Works project, which that's all the roadway and the site work, really critical to creating that neighborhood especially with the development that's happening, and it's tied into the Flintan site and the neighborhood aspects there. We expect to put that out to bid late June, early July. So some of that roadway work will be happening at the same time as the work going on for the building. On the CLC side, they should be able to coordinate well. Shouldn't cause any difficulties. But good news is we're really feeling good about where we're at. We actually just had a discussion today with the developer, making sure that we're on track to hit these milestones, and everything looks good. We're all paddling like heck beneath the water, but it doesn't look like there's any major game changers that should prevent us from hitting a July groundbreaking schedule, followed by hopefully having vertical construction well underway by Thanksgiving.
Councilor Repley.
Thank you, Madam President. Living within
Yeah, you're the
stone's
closest
throw,
one to it, right?
From this project, I just want to, it's about time. And I'm thrilled that
Amen.
that we're getting there. Every opportunity that I get to either speak to Dave Knowlton, our city engineer, or yourself, or any other member of the administration that will listen to me, on the schematic, the last schematic that I saw regarding the intersection of Boston and Bridge, there are crosswalk indicators and so forth on all sides except the last schematic that I'd seen, and I've not seen an updated one since.
Yeah.
I did not see a crosswalk and light indicator for the Dunkin' Donuts side of Boston Street.
Okay.
So basically my side of the intersection. There are a lot of commuters that want to walk down the western side of Bridge Street to head toward the train, and there's no safe way to cross unless you go 3 ways around. So I just want to reiterate that within the schematics, if we really do need to include that.
Okay, great. We'll check on where that's at.
Councilor Fumiko.
Thank you, Madam President. I share the same concerns, and I know quite a few councilors have brought that up even during the planning board for this. And at most recent Traffic and Parking Commission and Bike, their shared meeting, it was still that way during that meeting, so I'd love that to be fixed. As far as the petition, just so you're aware, I did contact National Grid prior to this coming tonight to ask for a drawing to scale, because a few months ago when they had given us something and it said a certain distance, I actually went to the planning department and measured out the distances that were shown, and what was shown on the plan, which it does show it's not to scale.
Right.
It wasn't to scale at all. It was something like this: when we're considering bike infrastructure and trees, we need to think of routes, and we need to think of the manholes are going to be below the cycling areas, or if they're going to be below the cars. So I also let our clerks know that as well, that I've asked for something that's actually done to scale versus not to scale.
Councilor Fury, then Councilor Ryan.
Madam President, some of us were at the Judge Bushko dedication of the Judge Bushko probate court, and that's a living tribute to him. He sat in his chamber. And again, we're recognizing the person who sat in this chamber, Jeannie Levesque. And I think both of them will be very happy to have a tribute named and recognized in their lives. It was nice to recognize Councilor Bushko alive. Unfortunately, we couldn't recognize Jeannie Levesque, who sat in this chamber. So well overdue. Thank you, Mayor.
Councilor Ryan.
Thank you. I just want to thank the mayor. I mean, she's worked a lot. She's got in to make this happen. This issue's been going on for a long time, longer than a lot of us have been alive. And she put it through. I mean, I'll feel more comfortable once it's built. It's looking better and better. I don't have any problems with the National Grid mass. I know they do a great job. I have some connections there, so if we need it, we can do it. I just want to thank you for giving us the update.
Great.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Councilor Dibble.
Thank you, Madam President. I also would like to rise and thank the mayor and congratulate her. You should have a big smile on your face on this one, because you've been fighting for this for a long time, and you are the mayor who's actually going to make it happen. You tried at St. Joseph's, almost made it happen.
I know.
Didn't quite work, and it's been a long time to get to here.
I have to build it myself. We're getting it.
Jean Levesque was a neighbor of mine, a good friend. I didn't have the privilege of working for him, but I did with Mayor Salvo, Mayor Harrington, and Mayor Yusevich, all of which allotted small portions of money, or sometimes big monies, and assigned me the task of supervising and putting Band-Aids repeatedly on the existing senior center, starting in 1986. Where we had prisoners and Boy Scouts and other people there painting and removing tons, about 12 dump truck loads of garbage we took out of there. All sorts of things. So
Took at least some that you left behind.
yeah, no, it just grows over there. But this is tremendous, and I could not be more proud of you getting this thing done. So congratulations.
Not done yet,
I did have one question, if I may, Madam President. Previously, at an earlier meeting, you mentioned a rough range of date when the door will open. Will you please share us that date?
Yeah, really important. So if we start construction in July, it's about a 12-month construction schedule. We think we're going to need some time to move in terms of relocating and getting systems up and running there from computers and everything else. So we're anticipating, if we start in July, a 12 to 15-month timeline before we're actually in the building. So that would be July to September-ish timeline of 2018. So 2017 we start, 2018 we're in. And they seem, the contractor and the developer, they're lined up, they're ready to go. It really feels like all the pieces are coming together really well. And I'm glad to give you guys an update because I think there's a lot of people asking. I hope you can share this information when people do ask. We'll have some kind of a celebration in July, but the real celebration will be a year from now when we're all in a beautiful new state-of-the-art facility that's long overdue. And it's really not long overdue for me, it's long overdue for our seniors. And that wouldn't have happened without the support of this body. And I know there were a lot of conversations, a lot of discussions, a lot of meetings we've had. I think we got it right. I think we're all going to be proud of it. And I just want to thank you for the partnership. We are, likely going to, we've been squirreling away some money. We've had some seniors who have left money. We're going to be doing some capital campaign, but we may need to look at FF&E, funding some additional items. As we're going through the budget, we're trying to incorporate that so that we can make sure when we go inside this building, we're equally as proud of it. But definitely looking forward to getting started and appreciate, your help getting us there. Keeping this petition moving will be a key piece of that.
Councilor McCarthy, Councilor Ryan, Councilor Duran.
Thank you, Madam President. I too want to rise and thank the mayor for sticking to this. I mean, it was right before I got on the council was the vote on St. Joe's, and shortly after I got on the council 10 years ago, I think within 2 years of me being on, I think so. It's been probably about 8 years in the works trying to move this forward, and it's been a process, and there's been multiple votes and multiple meetings on this, and I think that finally the light is at the end of the tunnel, and I'm really excited about it. I think it's going to be a welcome addition to the Park and Rec and in the Council on Aging in order to have a new facility, because I've been spending a lot of time there recently, and they really, A, need it, and B, deserve it, because we talk about it at meetings all the time about the biggest growing population in our city is the seniors, and they really do deserve a state-of-the-art facility that's all decked out to the nines that can really provide a welcoming atmosphere for them to gather, do events, and I really look forward to A, the groundbreaking, and B, the day that they cut the ribbon and open the door for the first time. So I want to thank the mayor publicly for sticking with it all these years to make sure that we kept taking those votes and we kept moving it along. And, I mean, there's all been, we don't have to go into all the backstories, but it's been a long process.
Councilor Ryan, Councilor Duran. Oh, Councilor Duran.
Thank you, Madam President. Through you, again, thank you so much for all of your work on this. But when the work with the MassWorks grants comes forward, that's going to impact Ward 6, that's going to impact Beaver, Goodhue, Upper Mason, Grove, all of that. So, or at least where eventually Legacy Park is going to be. So if we could get as much lead time information on that I can disseminate to everyone, that would be fantastic.
We're going to work for a date in June, I think, and we'll just do a combination CLC roadway upgrade so people can see some of those plans. If that seems to make sense as opposed to having two separate ones. And we'd obviously want to make sure folks in Ward 2 know and the folks in Ward 6. And I'm excited about the CLC, but we're really creating a neighborhood with great housing opportunities. And the work on Boston Street is next. We've hired a designer there with the medical marijuana funding from that neighborhood to help look at new designs on Boston Street. That's our really last marginal corridor, that and Highland Avenue. So feeling good about the opportunities to make some improvements in that area, and this will be a big piece of it. So stay tuned. Yeah. Okay. Any questions afterwards, please let me know. We can always follow up. And big thanks to the volunteers who are working on the building committee, who have given their time and their talents and been willing to share their thoughts about programming and colors and schemes, and they've been terrific too. And that's John Russell's been a key leader on that, and we're grateful for his time. I mean, he's a key leader on everything, I feel like, and but he's doing a great job for us. So just want to mention that. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you.
Good night.
Motions, orders, and resolutions. Councilor Duran.
Thank you, Madam President. City of Salem and City Council, April 27th.
Oh, sorry.
I need to move to
receive and
place on file. We need to vote on that.
All those in favor?
No, we didn't.
Yep.
We suspended the rules to allow it.
Okay, that's right.
All those in favor? All those opposed?
Thank you.
It's on fire. Motions, orders, and resolutions. Councilor Duran.
I
Why do I feel some sense of deja vu? City of Salem and City Council, April 27th, 2017, ordered that the year-to-date budget report dated January, February, and March 2017 be referred to the Committee on Administration and Finance. And I move for adoption.
Councilor Gerard moves for adoption. Under discussion?
No discussion.
On Councilor Gerard's motion for adoption, all those in favor? All those opposed? None. The matter carries. Further motions, orders, and resolutions. Councilor Gerard.
City of Salem, in the year 2017, an ordinance to amend an ordinance relative to traffic, be it ordained by the City Council of the City of Salem as follows. Section 1, Chapter 42, Section 50B, handicap parking time, limited time, Upham Street in front of number 39 for a distance of 20 feet, handicap parking to only tow zone. Section 2, this ordinance shall take effect as provided by City Charter, and I move for adoption for first passage.
Under discussion?
Thank you, Madam President. This is a constituent of mine, a neighbor, who had reached out about getting a handicap placard. I contacted Lieutenant Przewski, who reviewed this and recommended support of this, as well as the Traffic and Parking Commission also voted unanimously in granting this.
Any further discussion? Seeing none, on Councilor Gerard's motion, all those in favor? All those opposed? The matter carries. Further motions, orders, and resolutions. Councilor McCarthy.
Thank you, Madam President. City of Salem, in the year 2017, an ordinance to amend an ordinance relative to traffic, be it ordained the City Council of the City of Salem as follows. Section 1, Chapter 42, Section 88, Special Speed Zone Regulations. Section 194 of the Acts of 2016 creates MGL 9018B, allowing municipalities to establish 20-mile-an-hour safety zones. Derby Street between Congress Street and Ford Avenue, easterly side and westerly bound traffic at 20 miles per hour. Section 2, this ordinance shall take effect as provided by City Charter.
Move for adoption for first passage.
Yes, I move for adoption for first passage.
Under discussion?
Thank you, Madam President. This body, a month or so ago, adopted a citywide 25-mile-an-hour speed limit, and with that, there were some sections on some certain streets, as we all talked about during that meeting, that were non-compliant or didn't fit into the ordinance because they were posted, sometimes just posted, and with some of the issues that I have, and as we have, the city has been dealing with relative to Derby Street, has been the ongoing construction traffic and speed with relative to Derby Street. Derby Street tends to be sometimes a cut through. I don't need to explain it to everybody, but there are sections of Derby Street that had been posted 20 that were going to either have to be changed to 25 or left unenforceable, so to speak. You put a sign up as a deterrent, but if a police officer was to pull somebody over, technically the speed limit is 25, so he gets up from going 25, then in a 20, you can't give him a ticket because technically it's 25. So this just allows for the signage to be 20, the way it should be. Slow traffic down on Derby Street. Derby Street is a beautiful street with all the homes on it, but it's also probably, except for downtown, probably one of the most heavily traffic pedestrian-wise, with the ferry and the House of Seven Gables and the Maritime Historic Site. It's heavily foot trafficked. The speed doesn't need to be any more than 20. I talked this over with Matt at the Parking and Traffic Commission. They brought it up. I talked to Lieutenant Przewski. You can see all those notes scribbled all over the sheet in the back. They're all in favor of it. It's, as much as we want to encourage people to spend time in Salem, but at the same time, they also have to encourage them to stay here and slow down. This just gives the police department a few more tools relative to when they do set up speed traps, that the speed limit will be 20 miles an hour, so we're gonna try to encourage people to slow down and enforce it, so.
Thank you. Councilor Famico.
Thank you. I'm in support of this as well. I'm at the Traffic and Parking Commission. Going forward in the upcoming weeks, though, I would like the Salem Police Traffic Division to come before us. We put all these speed limits in, but a lot of it's only as strong as what the enforcement is so we can have an idea of what's happening with this since we put into 25 mile per hour. How have they been taking it to the next level for us to making sure, because a sign can go up and everything else, but we need to be certain of what's happening as a result, so I'd like to hear from them, especially going into the budget season.
Councilor McCarthy?
I I would highly recommend that the good Ward 2 Council has a conversation with the police chief. I tend to talk to the police chief at least once every other week relative to traffic matters and police matters in my ward, and I know that she is very supportive whenever I have requested a speed trap or whatever is required in and around that, on Webb Street and Derby Street. The chief is working with, you know, as we've all has come up in discussions. I mean, she's dealing with some retirements. She's also dealing with some people out on leave. And she's also dealing with people that are in the academy as well, trying to fill some of those spots. So the police traffic is probably, you know, is stretched out pretty thin, but they do a very admirable job with what the resources they have. I mean, it's not, but it's been my experience with the chief that whenever I make a phone call relative to, if I've got a group or neighbors that complain, Ford Ave, you can take a pick of any streets, that people start to use those cut-throughs and increase their speed, they try to do it. But I mean, I agree with the fact that, you know, we want to try to lower the speed limit to 25, and it is only as best as is enforceable. And you know, I would encourage that anyone who has specific issues reach out to the police department themselves. But to bring them in, I think, yeah, that's a good conversation. But you know, budget-wise, I would just encourage everyone to support as much or advocate with the mayor as much as you can to increase the numbers and get the numbers back up to complement, because that's the best way to be able to ensure enforcement is to increase and to encourage full complement of officers that allow them to do, on top of the day-to-day work, the extra work that we're asking them to do with regards to speed enforcement and stuff like that.
Thank you. Councilor, no. Any further discussion on Council McCarthy's motion? All those in favor? All those opposed? The matter carries. Councilor Fury?
Yes, please, Madam President. A late file, please. In the City Council, April 27, 2017, ordered that the Committee on Community and Economic Development, co-posted with the Committee of the Whole, meet to discuss provisions for accessory apartments, mother-in-law apartments. Madam President.
Thank you. That's a late file, no discussion. Now we'll go to committee reports, I think, on page 10. Is that where we are?
We can vote on it.
Okay, on Councilor Fury's motion to move this matter to committee. All those in favor? All those opposed? The matter carries. Now we'll go to committee reports. I think page 10? Councilor Ryan.
Committee on Ordinance and Legislative Legal Affairs, to whom is referred the matter of granting certain licenses considered a matter, would recommend approval. Seaworms, Robert Betancourt, Jose Betancourt, and Tag Days, Salem High School Boys Soccer.
On acceptance of the report, all those in favor? All those opposed? On adoption of the recommendation, under discussion?
No discussion.
Any further discussion? All those in favor? All those opposed? The matter carries. Further committee reports. Councilor Gerard.
Thank you, Madam President. City of Salem and City Council, April 27th, 2017. Committee on Administration and Finance, co-posted with the Committee of the Whole, to whom was referred the matter of a home rule petition for an act regulating certain insurance benefits, health and life for part-time elected officials. Has considered the said matter and would recommend that the matter stay in committee.
On acceptance of the report, all those in favor? All those opposed? On adoption of the recommendation, under discussion.
Just briefly, it was an interesting discussion, and we asked the HR director to bring the committee, and we'll co-post it again, some more information that we had some questions for.
Any further discussion? Seeing none, on Councilor Gerard's motion, all those in favor? All those opposed? The matter carries. Further committee reports. Councilor Ryan.
If I may, prior to that, I just have a conflict of interest statement to read, Madam President. Sure. If that's okay with you, Councilor. I said this earlier during the committee report, but just prior to this, as it is an elected official, I'm expected to take certain actions in the performance of my official duties. Because the matter before me involves the North Shore Medical Center, my mom works for North Shore Medical Center. A reasonable person could conclude that I'm likely to act or fail as an active result of my mother's employment. I am publicly stating that I will be filing a disclosure to disclose the facts about this relationship to dispel the appearance of a conflict of interest, and further taking into account the facts that I've disclosed, I feel as though I can perform my official duties objectively and fairly. And just with that noted, until recently, my father had also worked there, so putting that out there. The form has been filed. I was told to read this out loud during record. Thank you, Madam President.
Thank you, Councilor Ryan.
Thank you, Madam President. In City Council, April 27, 2017, the Committee on Ordinances, License, Legal Affairs, co-posted with the Committee of the Whole, to whom was referred the matter of a community benefit agreement with the North Shore Medical Center, has considered said matter and would recommend that it stay in committee.
On acceptance of the report, all those in favor? All those opposed? On adoption of the recommendation, under discussion?
Under discussion, we had a meeting, this is like the fourth or fifth that we've had. This is the full, right before this meeting. The mayor addressed the committee. We had the Committee of the Whole. The mayor had given us a letter earlier today, or 2 o'clock, email with some stuff, more information, but ultimately the committee decided to keep it in committee, and that's all I have to say, unless someone else says something.
Any further? Councilor Ripley.
Madam President, pursuant to City Council Rule 38, I move that this matter be discharged from committee for immediate consideration.
Seconded.
Councilor, on Councilor Famico? Did you have something?
Seconded.
Were you seconding that?
Seconded his motion.
Okay, all right. On Councilor Epley's motion to discharge this matter from committee, seconded by Councilor Famico?
Open for discussion?
Yeah. Under discussion.
Thank you. Madam President, this matter, as the good at large and committee chair Councilor had just mentioned, they've had 4 or 5 different meetings on this issue. It is time for this to be dealt with by the City Council. This has been an ongoing problem with the Ordinances, Licenses, and Legal Affairs Committee of holding up matters that are not conducive to a minority of folks within that committee. Well, a majority on that committee, but a minority on the council. So it's time to move forward. The issue of federal funding came up during the Sanctuary for Peace ordinance that we could potentially lose $11 million. That's fictitious. But what is actually endangering dollars would be the potential loss of what is a gift from North Shore Medical Center to the city. The longer that we wait, the less likely we get the money. So we need to consider this evening. We need to vote on it. And there need to be, I can appreciate the Ward 3 councilor's concerns. He's the ward councilor for Ward 3. I disagree with him, but I appreciate that he's the one having the issues. What I cannot understand are at-large councilors who represent the entire city who do not, or who are not acting on behalf of the full city, in my opinion, by holding up and not accepting this gift. So I would hope that my colleagues move to discharge this matter from committee. We need to move.
Councilor Fury.
Madam President, I strongly concur. I think it's critical for the school committee, city council, and the city to go further on this issue. This is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to have this $1.7 million to help the entire city. Community benefits means community, the whole community, not just one section of the community, one ward, one precinct, one street, but the whole city. And I think the whole city will benefit by bringing this out of committee tonight. I think the city's interest is at heart. And it's a rare situation that we have to do this, but I think it's very positive for the city and for the school system itself there. Planning for the Connect situation takes months. Here we are, almost the 1st of May, and they're going to end their school year in June. We need to get this into the reality stage sooner than later. Thank you.
Councilor Turiel, Councilor Sargent.
Thank you, Madam President. Through you, I do agree that the time has come to try to pass this matter and to move forward. I do realize that there are details remaining in how this plan will be happen, how construction will happen, how the road improvements will happen, and the timing of some of them that do have to be worked out. But that doesn't really affect the core issue, which is that we have the agreement, the fundamental agreement with North Shore Medical Center already made and already prepared to move forward. There are elements of our own city's capital plan that will tie into this, our own roadway and paving plan besides what they are paying for. There are other departments and there are other there are other departments within the city, like the school department, that have plans moving forward that are affected by this. And as has been said, there are details, but the core matter is ready to move on. We've had this before us for quite some time. The base of what they have offered us has not changed in that time. We've had explanations of much of it, and some clarifications that I myself appreciate having gotten. I do think that it was justified for it to spend some time in committee so that these questions could be answered, but I think we've had enough of them answered, and I'm ready to move forward.
Counselor Sagan.
Thank you, Madam President. There was a time when decorum kept councilors from calling out other councilors and telling them what their job might be. I kind of take my direction from my constituents and the people who elect us, and I won't respond to that other than to say I don't think it's the right thing to do. But as an at-large councilor, one of the main things we have to do is to support the ward councilors. They work very hard around their ward, find out what's going on and what their constituents need, and this is such a case. Before I start, let me say first that the mayor controls a $150 million budget. The $350,000 that they'd like to use for the schools, I would love to give them, once the council order is satisfied. And the council order clearly says that these funds are to mitigate the effects of the associated with the impacts of the expansion of the hospital property. And I don't believe the school program and a couple other programs and a bicycle program are associated with the impacts of that construction. Once we mitigate the effects of the construction, then any money left over I would gladly give to the school system. I mean, I'm an alumnus of the school system. I support the school system. My children went there. We all would like to do that. But out of a $59 million budget, $350,000 is like 1/20th of 1% of our whole city budget. The mayor can put that money in there, and then we can reimburse later if there's money left from here. There's a lot going on with this project, and people say it's being held up. The project wouldn't even be going forward without the person they give the discredit to of holding it up. This started out as a land swap, and Councilor Lovely worked very hard with it, trying to get that land swap done behind Bertram Field, and to get the hospital land to use to be able to do this expansion. And if he didn't tell the hospital about a deadline, they might have ran into some technical problems and not even be able to do this project. So it's kind of disingenuous to say somebody's trying to hold this up when they move forward and let them know about a deadline that would have stopped the project or would have held the project up or would have made it take another year, gone through a whole nother fiscal year at the state. So I don't believe that that kind of thing should be put on somebody like that. Council Lovely's worked hard on this. And this is such a big project that affects all the way from Jefferson Avenue, up Wilson Road, down Highland Avenue, back down Jackson Street, back to Jefferson Avenue. It's going to change traffic flows around the hospital. It's going to make Jefferson Avenue way more busy. And as far as representing the whole city, I believe the whole city drives down Jefferson Avenue and sees the potholes. And not just the potholes, it's not going to take 2 inches of hot top down Jefferson Avenue. Manhole covers are sinking. Some of our biggest potholes in many cities, not just ours, are sinking manhole covers from all different kind of utilities and water lines. And that's going to take a lot more money than what it would take to just re-hot top a street. And it needs to be done. Outside of Canal Street, which is being done, Jefferson Avenue is one of our worst streets. And Council Lovely tried to get into the $3 million that we approved, and it didn't work out. Well, this project is going to be used in Jefferson Avenue a lot more, and Dove Avenue, and it needs that money. And once we take care of mitigating the construction, we can help with the rest of the money. But it's not fair to give all that money out and then have construction overruns on the things that we need to do, not have any money to go along. And we all know construction projects sometimes run into extra money. One of the main things that the council wants is a crosswalk down by Proctor Avenue. People are getting hit crossing that street there. It's a 2-lane highway with people jockeying, passing people who are turning. We all know how dangerous that is. And I think he's worked hard on this, and I think it's my job to support him in trying to get what's right for that neighborhood. So, with that said, I'll yield for now. Thank you.
Any other discussion? Counselor Ryan?
Thank you. I agree with Council Sargent. I was a ward counselor, so I know what a ward counselor does, and you depend on the support of the counselors at large, because as the ward counselor in Ward 4, you're elected to represent the people in Ward 4, and ultimately the whole city too. It's not just your ward. But ultimately, Ward 4, as a counselor at large, you're the whole city. There's four counselors at large. And I always try to support when I agree, or sometimes not disagree, but I try to support the counselor in that ward where the project's going. This is a city issue, and I just kept, a couple meetings ago, we had Dr. Walsh was talking in front of us, and it's sticking in my mind where he is a big proponent of this because he wants the part for the school department. And he said, this is where, no one likes to see the sausage made, but this is where all the stuff's at. Like, this is gonna come out better for everybody else. I'm disappointed that it took the way it did on both sides, that it's taken so long. I've tried to keep it going. I could have just not put this on the committee meeting, and I try to keep the communication open so the council and the mayor could work through this issue. It felt like we keep starting the car and it won't turn over, it won't turn over. When we first brought this in, I wanted to get this right out, but Councilor Lovely had issues, and as a former ward councilor, I know what he goes through, so I want to support him, but I don't want to hold this up forever. I think by the next meeting, I think we should have something out. I don't think we need to pull it out like we're doing it now. It's the council's prerogative. They want to do that, that's fine. This whole thing has a lot of great benefits. People say you're against the schools. I'm a product of the Salem Public Schools. My father was a doctor. My grandfather was a doctor. I'm named after a Salem police officer, the Salem Police Center. There's benefits for the whole city. I love the city of Salem. I do things what's best for the city of Salem. And as the committee chair, I use the tools that are available in my toolbox to make sure that we get what's best for the city of Salem, like the mayor is trying to do too. Sometimes we don't all agree, but you know what? It's like making the sausage. Sometimes you don't want to see what it looks like, but in the end product, it'll be delicious.
Councilor Lovely, then Councilor Dibble.
Thank you, Madam President. I appreciate the support of the committee to keep this in the committee to get my questions answered. I have been asking for this information since this first came in, when I received a letter stating where the community benefits money were going. Much to my surprise, they weren't devoted to what I thought were the commitments that were made. And it hasn't been the Ward 3 councilor who hasn't been willing to communicate. I've asked questions, and I believe that the administration felt that by waiting me out, that subsequently she would get support from several members of the council and perhaps the committee to have me go away, or my position wouldn't be listened to. I appreciate the fact that I have the support. We now, at 10 minutes to 7, I received a letter addressed to me here at the council chambers. I didn't get a telephone call from the mayor, although we've had conversations in the past. Had she been able to get me the information earlier, which I asked for on a daily basis, in the past week since Friday, we had a detailed conversation where I feel she gave ground and agreed to commit to bond to get these improvements done on Jefferson Avenue that I've been trying to get done since I come back on the city council. I proposed a $5 million bond. It was reduced to $3 million by the administration with the understanding. I thought my main concern for my ward was to get Jefferson Avenue paid. It didn't happen. My main concern when the mitigation was talked about around the hospital was that Jefferson Avenue get paid. It's not going to happen. Now the mayor sees that there are some councilors who agree with me, and she admits that these are her constituents as well and wants to get it done. But without dotting the i's and crossing the t's, I'm fearful for the third time that I'm not going to get Jefferson Avenue paid. And there's some other things, lights that need to be taken care of as far as studying, there's going to be increased traffic. I have my disagreements with how that money should be spent going forward. It's a 7-year commitment that we're making a decision how to spend money 7 years from now. I don't think that's appropriate. I don't believe we're going to see any further money from what I've told from hospital officials until September of 2019. The mayor said that she thinks it's going to be within a year. I hope that it is. these other programs, although I feel, and I've talked about other issues that the mayor finds priorities, that I think the public services in the neighborhoods are lacking. We're not spending enough funds for that, for those issues. Trees aren't taken down timely or trimmed, sidewalks aren't repaired, and this is my only opportunity to make sure that Jefferson Avenue gets paved, and it gets paved properly. We're spending $19 million on Canal Street. Not going to spend $19 million on Jefferson Avenue. I know there's other issues on Canal Street with regard to flooding and such, but this is the role of a ward councilor as I see it, to make sure that I use whatever leverage I can, and the mayor is always talking about leverage, so that I can make sure that people don't look 2 years from now when all the traffic is coming in the new entrance to get to the emergency room, and the sirens, and the diminution of property values on Jefferson Avenue and in the neighborhoods, that what the heck was Steve Lovely doing when he was sitting there? And that's why I feel I'm here. That's why I appreciate the support that I've got from members of the committee. And it's not my intent to hold this up, not my intent to make a decision on behalf of the entire city council relative to a program, although I think it's a wonderful program. I don't believe that it should be money that comes from this mitigation fund, but that's only my opinion. Other people feel that it's a worthy use of a one-time funds, but I have to insist, and I think I've got the mayor almost there. I'm disappointed that I have to get it at 10 minutes to 7 and ask to move this through. I'm asking for an opportunity, as I mentioned in the committee, to dot the i's and cross the t's to make sure that my constituents get what was committed to them on several occasions, and this is the only way that I can make sure that it gets accomplished.
Councilor McCarthy, Councilor Dibble, you were next, right? Councilor Dibble, Councilor McCarthy, Councilor Epley.
Thank you, Madam President. I'd like to echo the good Ward 3 councilor's comments. I think he's right on the money. I think most of our fellow councilors know how I act, how I run my committee. I like to have things come in and get right out. I serve on the Ordinances, License and Legal Affairs, although I don't chair it. I serve on it. I've attended every meeting, and I don't think one single thing since I've been on it since January has been held up for any reason. This is about the only thing that you can call being held up. So I think it was not a fair statement that for this Ordinances, License, Legal Affairs Committee for this calendar year. Today, I received a 4-page email from the mayor shortly before tonight's meeting, and I was able to read half of it. And then tonight, she handed out that 4-page letter, but also 9 or 10 pages behind it of text. Now, I didn't take the Evelyn Wood speed reading course. I couldn't possibly read all this during this meeting while we're trying to focus on everything else to get to this point. But I will say that I agree wholeheartedly with Councilor Lovely. I'd say the majority of the Ward 7 residents drive through Jefferson Avenue, so we experience it. I drive it every day. We see how bad a condition it is. It needs to be fixed, and I applaud the Ward 3 councilor for taking the hard stance to get this thing fixed. I don't think it's been delayed at all. This information has been asked for several months. I've met with the mayor multiple times on this one issue. Asked, let's just get the information on fixing Jefferson Avenue. Let's fix Dove Avenue intersection, the lights there. I'm the one that brought that forward. The good Ward 3 councilor seconded that one. He brought the lights at Wilson and Jefferson forward as well, that they need to have some modifications, but also a safety issue over on Proctor Street and Highland Avenue. One of my Boy Scouts a few years ago was hit there and almost died, and nothing has changed. Councilor Fury, Councilor Large, you know who that scout was that got hit there. He grew up through Scouts with your son in Scouts. I'm amazed it hasn't been fixed in the meantime, and I applaud the good Ward 3 councilor for taking a stand to make not just Ward 3 safer, but all of Salem safer. So good job, thank you. And I was in support tonight to have this stay in committee until we have time to digest this and let's get it right. There is no rush to do this. We're not getting these funds until summer of 2018, with the exception of that one school issue. The school committee, I've asked through the mayor to take a vote on that one issue. They haven't even met on it, although individually the members support that $350,000. The school committee needs to meet on it and vote. And not just for this $350,000 for this 1 year that is being given from the hospital to the general fund. They should look at year 2, 3, 4, and 5. Who's going to fund that? How much money will it cost? Those answers aren't answered yet. So there's a lot of information that hasn't been supplied until tonight. Hopefully at our next meeting it will come out and come before the full board, and at that time I will be supporting it, and hopefully the entire council will support it.
Councilor McCarthy, Councilor Repley.
Thank you, Madam President. I don't know, I guess the legacy, I don't know if the legacy is the right word, is that the one thing I teach or show example of is in council, I'm not even going to look at Councilor Ryan, he's already mouthing what I'm going to say. People have to learn how to count.
Bingo.
Listen, I know how to count. Everyone in this room knows how to count. We've sat here and we've batted this around after 45 minutes earlier tonight, or almost an hour earlier tonight, batting the same issue around that wasn't on camera. Now we're going to bat it around on camera. For the benefit of whom? I don't know. But all I'm going to tell you is there wasn't the support in committee to take it out. There isn't the support now. As a counselor who's not on the committee, all I'm asking is the support of the committee and a promise that it's good. I respect the fact that if some councilors don't feel comfortable making decisions in an expedited manner. I get that. Some people don't have the time during their regular jobs to access emails or to look at things or to digest things that fast. I get that. All I'm asking for is the commitment tonight that it comes out and is put in front of this body. That's all I'm asking for, because what's being asked of is something I haven't seen done in 10 years. What's being asked for tonight is to forcibly remove something from a committee because of the belief that there's an inaction on that committee. Okay? I'm not going to support that tonight, but all I'm asking is I want support from the committee that they've been given, as everyone stated in that committee, they've been given the information that they need to digest it. So in 2 weeks, up or down, whether they agree with the information they got or they don't agree with the information they have, they either recommend it to the full council for a vote favorably or they recommend it unfavorably. That's all I ask the committee to do, because as been said from the people who aren't on the committee that don't have a vote on whether or not it stays or not, there's some people that believe that it needs to be dealt with. The Ward 3 council is doing his due diligence. I'm not faulting him for that at all. But all I'm saying is, at some point, we need to have a vote, and I'm just asking for the commitment from the committee that at some time between now and 2 weeks from now, when we have our next meeting, that committee meets and votes up or down to send it to the full council for their deliberation and a vote. Because at that point, I think that's what needs to be done, and that's just my opinion. But I'd like to see some commitment from the committee that we're going to move this forward either up or down in 2 weeks.
Councilor Repley, Councilor Lovely.
I'll defer. I'll defer on that.
Could I speak again, please?
Councilor Lovely, Councilor...
Thank you, Madam President.
Sergeant.
Councilor McCarthy is very right. I mean, one thing Councilor O'Leary taught us all from the very beginning, when we got elected, he grabbed us aside and he taught us how to count to 6 and how to count to 8. And that's the way committees work. There's committees locally, state, and federal government. Overall, I think the world thinks it's a pretty good form of government, how things work. You know, you need 6 to pass an ordinance, 8 to pass zoning, and 8 to pull something out of committee. And there are times when something's in committee and I don't feel the right thing is being done, and you don't vote for it to come out of committee because you don't think it's the right thing to do. And whoever wants to get it out has to be able to get the support of 8 councilors, just as we do for a zoning change, to get it out of committee. And, you know, once you feel the right thing is being done, you support it. And I mean, that's the way this issue has gone. I mean, it's acted as if the hospital's given us a big gift, and I don't scoff at $1.8 million. People are calling it $2.8 million. But, you know, It's really not, because we got $125,000 a year as a payment in lieu of taxes, and they're counting that over so many years as $1 million. That's money we'd get regardless of this project. So the paper mentioned an extra $1 million. That's where that came from. I understand the math, but that's money we'd have otherwise. There's $1.8 million on the table here. A $200 million project would be $2.2 million in building fees. Subtract some of the furniture, other things that aren't part of the building fee, it's a wash at $1.8 million. If this project goes forward and just pay our building fees, we get the $1.8 million right up front. We don't have to wait for 2 years till there's an occupancy permit to get most of this money. All we're going to get before there's an occupancy permit is the $350,000 that may be used for the school system. So none of this money for the roads or anything else can even be used till this project is complete and the building inspector signs off on it. So there isn't as much urgency as people may think about this. And you know, as far as $125,000 a year as a payment in lieu of taxes, that's a pretty good deal for partners who last Thursday's Globe reported $12.6 billion in profits. $12.6 billion on a company that's losing a little money at Salem Hospital right now, but making a lot of money overhaul and buying places. Closed on our pediatric care at Salem Hospital, closed the heart surgery thing, and I wonder what else is closing next there. It was a pretty good partnership, but I think some of that's going away. People are very unhappy about having to go into Boston with their children and with their seniors to do things. And Brigham and Women's today laid off 1,600 employees. So that's part of partners also. Now, when Councilor Lovely started with this land swap, we got parking behind Bertram Field. But let's not forget, as I say, we're pretty good to the hospital, and they help us also. It's good to have them there. But there's 5 acres on the other side. 5 acres is 15 house lots. That would sell for $1.5 million at $100,000 a buildable lot. We give that to them for 99 years for like $1. We're pretty good back to them. And it's not a lot to ask them to do what they're doing in return. So again, I'll go on to the committee reports. You have to work hard to get things out of committee sometimes. 4 people are keeping something in committee. We just had a situation where 6 people can make an ordinance. So 4 of 11 could keep something in committee. 6 of 11 can change an ordinance that affects 40,000 people in our city. I don't think those numbers are so bad. We just passed a sanctuary city ordinance where 6 people decided that 40,000 people get to live in a sanctuary city. Whether you agree with it or not, that's the way it goes. And if you want to reverse something like that, you have to get thousands of signatures to put something on the ballot. So, you know, that's the way our government works, and sometimes it's not pretty, but it works that way, city, state, and federal. And you know, much has been said about newcomers coming to the area, sometimes refugees, some coming from difficult circumstances. But I wonder if they wouldn't come here and look at our form of government and wish they had a form of government like we have here, we have at the state, we have at the federal level, in whatever city, town, or country they came from. So I think they would like our form of government. Thank you.
Councilor McCarthy.
Thank you, Madam President. I would just encourage anyone who has any questions relative to building permits and building fees to take it up with the building inspector. If you want to use the logic that was just portrayed, a $1 billion construction site that happens to be in my ward, we'd be paying some astronomical amount of a building fee. It gets to a point once you get above certain house lots of certain sizes, when you get, and the building inspector is more knowledgeable than I am. Then you talk about having an engineer presence, and then after a certain value, that becomes negotiable. So I'll leave it at that. With regards to, there's no urgency, this body is responsible in a few months to set a budget that's going to be in excess, somewhere around, I don't know, $150 million where it's going to be. Okay, there's certain aspects of that budget that need to be dealt with and need to be factored in. And that's what we need to do. So in order to have some of that knowledge on where certain pieces are going to fit into the puzzle, we need to act. So I just will encourage everyone to act accordingly, because we do not put the pieces into the puzzle. The mayor does. Whether or not you like to admit that or not, the mayor is the one who makes those decisions about where the pieces go into the puzzle. And then we get to approve that. So we need to move on certain action items, because as much as what was said, what was also said earlier when the mayor was present was the fact that, yes, some of those monies will not be delivered immediately, but with the acceptance of the agreement, we, the city, has the ability to go ahead with those paving projects, because we have a commitment from North Shore Medical that they're going to, with the agreement, that when we go to move forward, we know that those funds are going to be available. So because we know those funds are going to be available, we then can borrow forward on them and actually get the projects moving forward. So there may not be urgency, but there's also dealing with things timely. So I would suggest that because of all the moving pieces in that big puzzle that we call the budget, we need to, even though you may think of this as insignificant, it's part of those pieces of the puzzle. And I would just caution you that if you think that $300,000 some odd dollars, whatever it is, out of the school budget is, if you take that and multiply by how many teachers' positions that could be, because the school budget is set. They have a fixed number that they work from and then work backwards from, okay? And so they've worked that number, and because of this agreement that was agreed to by the principals, being the mayor and North Shore Medical, they came up with this number. If that number is going to be altered, which we have that ability to deny the request, the school committee needs to move forward, because if they want to continue with this program, and I'm not going to tell them how to do their jobs, because that's their job, but if they want to continue with this program, then they need to know that they need to adjust their budget accordingly to make up the difference, because it's in their budget. So I'm just cautioning everybody. I agree with a lot of what's been said tonight. All I'm saying is we need to, as what came up in committee, people have questions about building permits and app fees and when they're due and all that, take it up with the building inspector. He knows better than all of us. We need to take a big, deep breath, answer the questions, take the information that we've gotten tonight, digest it, and move this forward. Next meeting, either out of committee, yes or no, and let the full council take a vote. That's all I'm saying.
Councilor Epley.
Thank you, Madam President. I'll be very brief in that I just want to correct one thing that the at-large councilor had mentioned about the pilot being $125,000 a year. That's been on a handshake. There's no written agreement that the North Shore Medical Center provides us that $125,000. What does happen is that the $125,000 is actually put on paper, and there's an agreement that we can count on that for 7 years and hopefully renegotiate it in 7 years. There was comments about this being a $12 billion corporation. Yes, it's a nonprofit. I know that I don't like the fact that we can't tax large nonprofits, but that's not up to us. That's up to the federal government to make that determination. As a result, we here in the city of Salem don't have the ability to tax those property owners, and so that's what we're left with. What we're doing by not addressing this now is endangering $2.8 million, a gift. It is a gift to us that we otherwise would not get. We are not entitled to a dime of pilot money at this point. We're not entitled to a dime of anything within the CBA. Nothing. So with that, I would ask that we move the question, and that I would request a roll call vote.
Councilor.
Yes, I had asked previous to Councilor Epley to speak, and I think you kind of just lost me.
I'm sorry, I missed you.
I had asked to speak, it was Council McCarthy and Council Lovely, then you recognized Council Epley and forgot about me.
Forgive me, please.
So I want to be
Councilor
able
Lovely.
to speak. Again, I'm going to reiterate that when I found out on or about February 8th what was in that mitigation agreement, I contacted the mayor immediately, spoke to her about my concerns, and said she would get back to me. I pressed again to ask for information. I met on my own with Dave Knowlton regarding Jefferson Avenue and what needed to be done. The mayor had said she was willing to do so on my own. I went to meet with Dave Knowlton. Then Dave Knowlton came out with a memorandum as to what was going to be done. He was preparing the documents and was going to get back to me relative to what parts of Jefferson Avenue would be done in what fashion based on his survey, and he agreed to go out there to talk to me, with me, to explain what he thought needed to be done. I respect his opinion. And I asked again, and Friday had a conversation with the mayor. She said she'd get me that information sooner rather than later. I asked on Monday twice. I asked on Tuesday, said she would get me information sooner rather than later. I thought she was going to bring something in Tuesday before the deadline, and I had asked the clerk if anything had come in, and nothing had come in. And I received nothing on Wednesday, despite my asking. I received nothing today until 2 o'clock that I was not able to see my email. And at 10 minutes to 7, I received a copy of the letter addressed to me at 93 Washington Street. No telephone call saying, here's what's coming, here's what I've been able to put together. And, I'm asked to, I looked, when I found out from the chairman, Councilor Ryan, that had been emailed at 2 o'clock, I looked at my email, found it, immediately sent it to Dave Knowlton and said, I'd like to meet about this. So I'm not delaying anything. I'm trying to get as much information as I can, get a full commitment to do what's been committed to, and I want to make sure that commitment is solid before I can go forward. So that's what I'm doing. I'm not trying to hold anything up, and I'm not delaying anything. I'm trying to get information and get this project completed.
Councilor Ryan.
Just real quick, through you to Councilor Lovely, would you, if everything else is fine, would you be amicable to Councilor McCarthy's thing about bringing this out in the next council meeting? That way, maybe that will leave Councilor Epley to withdraw his thing, but either way.
I'm concerned about being put in a box because now I have some momentum with the mayor. So I'm concerned that the mayor will now realize that, okay, I don't have to do anything. It's going to be voted out one way or another. So any leverage that I might have in dotting those T's and crossing those I's, to change the metaphor, is lost. It's not my intention. As I told you, I'm meeting with Dave Epley, I'm with Dave Knowlton to find out exactly what the scope of work is going to be done. It's not my intention to hold it up. Your committee members, if you feel that I haven't done my due diligence, or if you're happy with what's transpired, you can vote it out. I just don't want to be in a box because I've had a great deal of difficulty to get the mayor from where she was on February 8th to where she is today at 2 o'clock. It hasn't come easy. And I've tried and tried and tried. And Councilor Fiore at the last meeting came up to me afterward and commended me about fighting for my ward. I don't know if you forgot that, but you came and said, Councilor O'Keefe and Councilor Novak be very proud of how I fought for my ward, yet you chose not to support me. That's okay, that's your prerogative. But it's not my intention to hold this up. I want to make sure that the commitments that are being given to me verbally are going to be taken care of. I don't have any sense that that's going to happen. It hasn't happened yet. So I understand what you're trying to say, but if I were to commit in a negotiation to, okay, we're going to sign this agreement, where's the negotiation going to go? When I press for, I haven't even had a chance to read it. But I'm assuming that it's to pave Jefferson Avenue in certain sections. I took a quick look at it to a certain depth. The whole street's a mess, so I want to talk with Dave Knowlton and say, what are we planning on doing, what's it going to cost, and make sure that that commitment's going to be lived up to. So I understand Councilor McCarthy's point that we not delay it any further, but you as council members and committee members can do as you like. But I've kept you informed, committee members, about where I'm at in the process. Any communication I've got from the mayor, I've let you know about. Any communication I've sent, you followed it all along. You know of what I speak, that I have been requesting this information. I understand, you put it on the agenda a couple times when, on the committee agenda, when I wasn't happy about it because we weren't prepared. I wasn't getting any movement from the corner office. Now, getting some movement to fulfill the commitment. So I understand what you're both trying to say, but for me to say, no matter what, I'm going to vote it out or not ask for your support, I can't commit to that.
Any further discussion?
Call the question and roll call vote.
Madam Chair?
If you could clarify the vote, I understand the vote, and make sure everybody understands.
Sorry, so the motion is to discharge this matter from committee. A yes vote will discharge it from committee, and we will have the opportunity to vote on it this evening. A no vote will keep it in committee, and it will keep the matter in discussion in committee.
Counselor Turiel?
Yes.
No.
Counselor Sargent?
No.
Counselor Ryan?
No.
Counselor McCarthy?
No.
Counselor Lovely?
No.
Counselor Gerard? Oh, she's absent.
Excused.
Counselor Fury?
Yes.
Counselor Famico?
Yes.
Counselor Epley?
Yes.
Counselor Dibble?
No.
Counselor Milo?
Yes. On the matter of discharging this matter from committee, we have 10 councilors voting. This actually requires a 2/3 vote or 8 votes to discharge it from committee. We have 5 councilors voting in the affirmative, 5 in the negative. The matter does not carry. Further committee reports.
Madam President. Acceptance of, adopting the recommendation is actually the next matter procedurally.
Correct. We need to have.
Sorry, okay,
You are
Councilor Ryan.
On adoption.
I'm guessing there's no more discussion, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so on adoption of Councilor Ryan's recommendation, all those in favor? All those opposed?
Opposed.
The matter carries. Councilor Fury, could you take the...
Please. Communications from city officials?
Nope.
None?
Committee reports.
Oh, I apologize.
Committee reports.
Councilor Ryan.
Thank you. City Council, April 27, 2017, Committee on Ordinances, License, and Legal Affairs, co-posted with the Committee of the Whole, to whom has heard the matter of the exemption of Massachusetts Conflict of Interest Law for the mayor to serve as a state appointee to the Salem Housing Authority, has considered said matter and would recommend we keep it in committee.
Any further discussion?
On acceptance of the report.
On acceptance of the committee's report. All those in favor? All those opposed? So moved. On discussion, please.
On discussion. We ran out of time because of the other issue that we had in front of us, so I'm trying to get this back and we'll discuss it. Thanks.
Councilor McCarthy?
Thank you, Mr. President, not being a member of the committee, but being a member of the committee whole, and I know this was co-posted. I guess when the committee meets, my question to the committee would be, and I'll bring it up at the committee, is the issue in front of us on this one is an ethics question. And I guess where does that fall under the jurisdiction of the committee? Because it's an ethics question, and basically the governor has appointed the mayor to this position, and the mayor has disclosed in her affidavit that she will take a certain amount of money for the position, whatever it is, it's minimal, that it won't conflict with her regular working hours, and there's one other thing. So all we as a body are being asked to do is recognize that it's an ethics question. She's answered the questions and has filled out the affidavit, so where does that fit into the scope of the committee? That's just a question for the committee. Because every time it comes up on committee, we don't seem to get to talk about it because the other issue seems to run long, and I understand, we're all in a time frame. But if it is an ethics question, where does it fall under the legality of, or where does it fall under the legality of the committee to take up the issue to begin with? Because at some point, I think it's just a council issue that we recognize the fact that it was an ethics question, it was raised, the ethics question was answered, and it's just this body's obligation to recognize the fact that it was answered. That's my opinion, but, so it's just as long as that's taken up.
Does Councilor Ryan think he may need legal advice in this situation, or does he expect action on this in the next subcommittee meeting?
I'm going to invite more people to the next meeting, and then we'll bring up these issues. I mean, I'm personally not in favor of giving an exemption for this, because I think it's a total conflict of interest, because she appoints the other 4 people on the committee, but that's besides the point. We'll bring up in the committee, and I'll bring some other people in, we'll discuss it, and go from there.
Possibly by the next city council meeting?
Well, remember, yeah.
Thank you. Hearing further no discussion on acceptance of the committee's report. All those in favor? Thank you.
Adoption recommendation.
Move adoption. All those in favor? Thank you.
Further petitions. She's got locked in.
Thank you.
Take my agenda?
I did.
Can't do anything.
I like it very much. I like being up there.
Now we're on petitions. Page 12.
We have a petition from National Grid to install 2 singly owned and relocate 1 singly owned pole on Bridge Street.
Hearing ordered, May 11th, 2017. Further petitions.
We have a petition from National Grid to install conduits and manholes on Bridge Street.
Hearing ordered, May 11th, 2017. Further petitions.
We have a list of license applications for public guides.
Counselor Ryan.
Move granted.
Any discussion?
Nope.
On Counselor Ryan's motion, all those in favor? All those opposed? That carries. Further petitions.
We have 2 tag day license applications.
Counselor Ryan?
Move refer to the Committee on Ordinance and Legal Affairs.
Under discussion?
No discussion.
On Counselor Ryan's motion, all those in favor? All those opposed? And that carries. Further petitions.
We have 2 drain layer contract operator licenses.
Counselor Ryan, Counselor Ryan.
Move granted.
Under discussion?
No discussion.
On Counselor Ryan's motion, all those in favor? All those opposed? The matter carries. Further petitions.
We have 2 claims.
Counselor Ryan.
Move refer to the Committee on Ordinance and Legal Affairs.
Under discussion?
No discussion.
On Counselor Ryan's motion, all those in favor? All those opposed? Matter carries. Further petitions.
We have 1 drain layer bond.
Counselor Ryan.
Move refer to the Committee on Ordinance and Legal Affairs.
Any
No discussion.
On Counselor Ryan's motion, all those in favor? All those opposed? The matter carries. Unfinished business.
We already did it.
Oh, what's the due to the holiday thing?
Where am I at?
The what?
Due to the holiday of Patriots.
Oh, you want me to read it? Okay.
Yes.
Due to the holiday of Patriots' Day, first passage of ordinance is adopted on April 13, 2017 meeting relative to amending an ordinance relative to constables and amending an ordinance relative to traffic did not get advertised 7 days prior to this meeting in accordance with the city charter. Second passage of these 2 ordinances will be on unfinished business for the next regular city council meeting of May 11, 2017.
Counselor Ryan? Oh, I'm sorry, wait a minute. Counselor Fury.
Motion to adjourn, Madam President?
Fury,